Hello and welcome to Still Got Legs, a Doctor Who Rewatch podcast brought to you by Another Happy Studios. Knock knock, who's there? This is Midnight. Hello everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to Still Got Legs, the only Doctor Who podcast in the world. There are no others, none of them exist. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined with my companion as we go on this adventure through time and space and rewatch all of Doctor Who. Well, not all of it, but some of it. His name is Lawrence. Hello, you bitch.
Hello. Ask me how I am today, Nathan.
Oh, no. You know what? I'm not going to. What I will ask, Lawrence, is how was your Christmas?
It was a good Christmas. I had a very festive time filled with festive cheer, presents galore, which was nice. I had that moment where I realised I'm an adult because I got my two favourite things were a rucksack and a non-stick fancy pan.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm old. This wasn't like this last year. I got Lego last year.
I got Lego this year.
Yeah, oh, that's true. So you're regressing then, technically.
Well, not really. I also got very excited over just a mug, and it wasn't like a cool mug or anything like that. It was just like it had like a nice fancy pattern on it, but it was literally just a mug, and I was like,
when you said it wasn't like a cool mug, it was a plain white mug.
No,
like
it was
office
like,
chic.
No, it's like a nice mug, but it's not like like a Star Wars mug or anything like that. It's just like a mug.
Mug wise, right? Do you like a fancy shape mug?
What do you mean a fancy shape mug?
No, this won't help the listeners, but like a mug like this.
Oh, I can't be doing with any of that shit. No. If I used to have a TARDIS mug, okay?
Right.
And it was great to sit on a shelf, all right?
Yeah.
But in actual practicality, fucking awful. You have to drink it from a corner. You have to you have to drink it from a corner. You're stirring your tea and it's just clinking against the edges constantly.
Oh yeah.
It's not good practicality wise. But just give me a normal shaped mug.
I also find there's people that have the massive fuck off Sports Direct mugs. Firstly, they're too big.
No.
It's like, what you reckon?
No, yeah, I like a good Sports Direct mug. They're a decent size.
I've had a tea in one of them, and it feels like one tea bag doesn't suffice.
No, it doesn't. You got to put like at least 2 or 3 in for one of those mugs.
Oh, okay. So that's just accepted amongst the Sports Direct users.
Yeah, that's just fucking science, though. Like, you're gonna.
I don't want 8 cups
tea.
of tea in one tea. I want a tea.
Well, then have a fucking normal sized mug, you dickhead. All right, no one's forcing you.
How have we got here?
I don't know. You pissed me off. Anyway, welcome to the Doctor Who podcast, where we do this shit, I guess. What was I going to say, Lawrence?
I don't know. Midnight. Something to do with midnight. We're recording at almost midnight.
Yeah, that's not relevant.
We're on brand.
Lawrence, is the new year. It's 2024 now. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How was your New Year's Eve?
It was good. Currently, as recording, I haven't done it yet, but I'm sure it will be fun.
Spoil the magic then.
Sorry.
Come on, man.
When is this going out? Like
New
1st
Year's
of January
Day.
at 10 a.m.
Yeah, New Year's Day.
So unless they think we're real committed,
Could be.
I mean, that's true. It is possible.
It's absolutely possible. There's no reason why not. You can have a podcast up. If you don't edit it, you can have it up fucking half an hour after it's been recorded.
That's very true. Maybe less.
Maybe less.
That it depends on your internet connection. It wouldn't be possible in mine.
Yeah, you couldn't. But
Nathan, tell me about who directed this and wrote this and everything else.
Don't you fucking step on my... I don't like this, but you stepping on my patch recently. With all this. I'll handle this.
We're 5 minutes in and we've argued about mugs. I'm just moving us along.
I'll handle this. Thank you very much. Lawrence, this is Series 4, Episode 10 of Doctor Who. It's called Midnight. It's written by Russell T Davies. It's directed by Alice Troughton. And this actually kicks off a series of 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes, which are written by Russ himself.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah. So
he really went, it's my swan song. I'm off.
It really is, yeah. So there we go. And yes, directed by Alice Troughton, who also directed the Doctor's Daughter. So she's back.
Nathan, what do you make of Midnight?
Well,
what do you make of Midnight?
What do I make of it?
What do you make? Like, what sort
of question is that?
That's a fairly normal way of phrasing it. Like, what's your takeaway? Like, what do you make of that?
I usually get a cheeseburger.
So that was painful.
I've had a very long day. Lawrence, here's what I will say about Midnight. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I know it's like almost universally praised and hailed as like this really intense, really well written episode. It's, you know, there's great drama, there's great suspense. It's a bottle episode, and it's one of like the great bottle episodes of all time. And I think, all right, I think that everything people say about this episode is 100% correct. What a fucking banger. All right? What an absolute banger.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you had me worried there. I thought you were going to do a Blink thing again, where I was so excited for us to get into Blink, and you were like, "It's mostly okay."
Blink is mostly okay.
I know, right. Listen, we can't rehash this.
But it is.
We're not doing it. So this is certified banger. Are you prepared to say it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course I am. This is certified banger. This is. I always say one episode in particular is my favourite of the Russell era, and we haven't got to it yet, and I'm not going to say what it is, but I always say this one episode is my favourite of the Russell era. But watching this last night, I was like, maybe a new player has entered the battlefield. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to need to watch that one again, and we will soon enough. But like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. This one, as the kids or the dickheads say, has the sauce.
No. I think the cool kids say that as well. Not just
I don't think anyone cool says that.
I
think it's mostly virgins on Twitter.
I said it the other day to you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine.
Oh, here's something I wanted to bring up. This isn't relevant to anything, but something I just found funny. The other day, it was your wife's birthday, and I texted your wife to say, I wrote a beautiful little message. I said, happy birthday. And within like 30 seconds, I got a text from you saying, she's married me.
I was so happy myself sending that. I saw it come through and I was like, "Oh, I've got a very limited window to do something fun here."
Why are you screening their text messages? What's going on?
No, we were on her phone looking at something and it came up, and then I was furious that she had your number. Yeah. All right. Look. So this is a contender for the top spot, the Russell top spot.
I had a number before you did.
Okay, we're still on this. I think you did. I think you might have done. Yeah.
There's no think about it. I did. That's a fact.
Yeah, well, you didn't use it to the way I did you?
No, obviously not.
Blowing up her line, rizzing her up like me. I'm hearing myself listening back to this, knowing that I hate myself for saying that.
And everyone else hates you too. So,
well, that's very rude of them.
As long as you're aware.
Yes, I am. It's true.
Midnight, Lawrence.
Yeah, This is like kind of a weird episode to talk about in terms of like normally we try and like follow the story along as it goes,
and we're going to.
No, and we are, but like no, but this is like it's a bottle episode where like there's less signify. It'd be more like, and then Sky did this, and then the Doctor said this. Like like there's no other rooms. They don't go to different places, and new characters don't come and go. Like
okay, I see what
it's harder to see it's harder to follow this one.
Maybe I feel like you've been like a little coward.
I mean, I wrote my notes in chronological order because that's how I watched the episode.
I tried to make notes on this, and because famously I don't make notes because I hate making notes, and we usually just go off yours, which is why the the episodes of this podcast mostly just feel like you going, oh, and then what happened next? So we.
Yeah, but that's what, I mean, people seem to like it, I guess.
But this is a big one. So I tried to make some notes, and like I kept getting annoyed because I had to pause the episode to watch it, and then like halfway through I went, "Fuck this! I'm just gonna watch the episode."
See, I like doing. That's one of my favorite things about making notes. Is
one of your
pausing it
favorite things to do when watching an episode of Doctor Who is to stop watching it so you can write what just happened. Do you realize how fucking insane that sounds?
No, not write what just happened, but like, you know, digest the point, go like, oh, what? That's an interesting thing to expand on, and give myself 30 seconds just to be like, have a little think about it, and be like, I reckon we could dig in on this. Like, I'm talking about like the themes, like just getting stuck. Because this episode is like, a lot happens, but it's also saying a lot of stuff. And I was like, if I don't write this down, I'm going to forget it.
Don't you tell me what this episode is saying, all right? I know what this episode is saying, okay?
Well, go on, read me one of your 2 notes or something.
I'll read you my first note.
Please.
Companion light episode.
You are not going to believe this. That is my first note.
Verbatim?
It says companion light.
How you spell light?
Lite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know.
We them boys.
All right.
I don't know why that is that way. Why is it spelled like that?
Because it's...
Never mind. We knew how to spell
We
it.
don't know.
Fuck off, everyone. Yeah, I put Donna's having a break. It's like, it's been a while since I watched this kind of like as a series. Like, I tend to, with Doctor Who, just pick up a random episode if I want to throw on an episode of Doctor Who. But like, knowing like the last 2 weeks Donna's had, it's no wonder she's like, yeah, a spa for me, actually. You can go and sit on the bus for like 5 hours or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a well-deserved little pamper treatment for Lawrence. For Donna. Sounds like I don't know why they decided to come to this planet, which like seems like, look, it's a very hostile environment and it's almost completely uninhabitable. But you know, we built this hotel which is made out of like thick ass diamonds, so you'll be safe. So like, that's pretty cool. And I'm like, yeah, but just build it somewhere else where it is safe, you know. Like, we can have a nice time somewhere that's not constantly trying to kill us, you know?
See, I thought about this because I've heard this criticism before on this episode, and there's like, I don't know if this is maybe reading too much into it, but like, is there not something in it where like people take stuff for granted, like a comment on that kind of human ignorance of like, oh, we set up here, so we're fine.
I think it's very intentional. I'm not like saying Russell's an idiot. I think he's...
But you're saying you're not going it.
No, I'm not going it. I'm saying fucking capitalism is horrible. And they're like, hey, look, we built a fucking all-star resort on this completely inhospitable, fucking terrible planet. Looks pretty. And we built a fuck-off hotel so we can get tourists in and... you know, completely ruin the fucking natural landscape or whatever on this undisturbed planet where there's weird shadow creatures who want to kill us all or whatever. But like, you know,
it's definitely a comment. But yeah, I'm not in a rush to go visit here. But they seem safe. They seem safe enough.
Well, Lawrence, I've got good news for you. You will literally never be able to visit this planet for 2 reasons. 1, we are nowhere near the level of interstellar travel that we need to be to reach this planet. And number 2, it's fictional. So there you go.
So even if number 1 was true.
Yeah, even if we did somehow leap forward thousands of years with our technology and reach the level where we could safely do interstellar travel, wouldn't fucking matter. Because
I've been in my lab working for 1,000 years, and I finally get to it, and then you go, but it is also not real.
Yeah,
you crush my world. Do you know what? I love this episode because I think this is a kind of scenario that the Doctor finds himself in a fair bit, in a broad sense, in terms of like he lands somewhere and there's a group of humans that are just around, and something goes wrong and they need his help, and this is kind of like the Russell flipping that and going like, what if, you know, because it's bound to happen eventually, what if the Doctor does land somewhere and it turns out that the humans that are like terrified and need his help just turn on him out of pure fear? Like, what does he do then?
Spoilers.
They know this.
I know, but I like us to reach that point organically.
Okay, all right. Fine. What would you like to say before we get to that point?
Well, no, go on. Continue your thought.
No, but that's just something like a general thought of why I think this episode is great. Like it kind of takes that scenario that we are familiar with and just kind of flips it. Rather than being impressed by him, they're more like, I guess fearful, but like they more pin it on him. They more kind of go, you're here and you seem to know what's happening. You know too much. We're scared of you now. Rather than, you know quite a lot about this scenario. Please help us out of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's the whole episode.
All right, fine. Fine, I won't talk about it then. Go
No,
on,
you
let's reach
shouldn't.
it. Fine. All right. Why do you love this episode, Nathan? Let's reach this point organically.
Well, I mean, I've already kind of said it. Are we not going to go through it?
All right. Where do we start? We're in the spa. Donna's having a break. Yeah. I do like that the doctor is like calling her and like right up to the point where he's getting on the bus and he's like, "You sure? Come on, come on, have a little travel." And she's like, "No." I like that they've taken her. The doctor's taken her to this planet that, like you say, yes, terrifying as it may be on the outside, but like is beautiful and looks incredible. And the doctor's like, let's go and do this. We can travel on like ground that no one's ever stepped on before. And Donna's takeaway of it is kind of more like, yeah, no, sounds like a school trip. I'm just going to stay here and work on my tan instead.
The doctor, he can't help himself. Like even if they've come to this like vacation resort and they're purposefully having a bit of a break and a chance to chill out, he's still itching for a little bit of adventure, a little bit of excitement. He can't just sit back and sunbathe or whatever. He's like, fuck this. I gotta put on an ugly brown suit and go sit on a bus for like 6 hours or whatever. He just can't help get involved with a little bit of adventure. And you know, I can't relate, but I appreciate it.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, I thought you might be able to relate to this today. You've spent a long time in the car today, traveling.
Yeah,
Did anything
it's
like
awful.
this happen on your journey?
I can safely say nothing like this happened on my journey. Be a bit fucking weird if it did, going down the A1 and then fucking there was someone knocking at it. First of all, I'll be able to see through the window, so half the mystery's gone already.
Yeah, it's true. It wouldn't be quite as threatening. Yeah, I like the doctor's like pre-sting line. It suddenly gears very into like, we know we're a TV show, and he's like, "Oh, traveling on a little bus with a bunch of strangers. I have no idea who they are. What a planet called Midnight? What could possibly go wrong?"
Everything.
Yeah.
The worst things you could ever imagine. Just the absolute worst of humanity, all forced into a little bus together. Just, yeah, not great. I like that they were going to visit. They made plans to go to an anti-gravity restaurant, but they'll have their bibs this time with them.
I like that. I like Doctor Who's great for this, right? Because every now and again there'll just be a little throwaway line like that, and you're like, it just lets you picture this whole other scenario that we wouldn't get to see. I'm like, I can't imagine anything worse.
Yeah, it
than an
sounds horrible.
anti-gravity restaurant.
Sounds absolutely horrible.
What's the safest food choice you could get at an anti-gravity restaurant?
Probably like something very solid. Like
I've got mine.
You don't want anything liquid based is a no go.
Yeah.
You need something solid like a steak or like.
Yeah, but then if you've got like sauce and a bit of grease, that can go places, can't
Well,
it?
then don't get sauce.
Plain steak though, that's very, very dull.
It's not dull.
Plain steak on it, a steak on its own, like
If it's cooked right, it's not dull.
all right, not
If
dull,
you're just
but-
if you're just getting a steak and like fucking just pan frying it for like 20 minutes, then yeah, that's dull. But if it's seasoned and it's cooked properly and it's basted with the garlic and the rosemary and all that, it's beautiful. You don't need to fucking slather it in ketchup like you do. You
I don't
absolute
put
fucking-
ketchup on my steak.
And this is a man who goes to Nando's, orders a plain chicken and douses it in ketchup.
All right, I think my choice is better. I think I'll go for a calzone. Everything's literally contained in a little pocket.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Bit boring, though, isn't it?
No, calzone's all right. It's just a pizza, isn't it? Folded up pizza.
Yeah, it's a bit boring. Just get
What,
a
if you-
pizza.
I mean, yeah, but look, not here. All my toppings would fall off if it went
Why
upside
would they
down.
fall off?
Well, I mean, how glued on are your toppings on your pizza?
Well, it depends how well the pizza's like cooked and formed. Like, I feel like if you took like a slice of pizza, like a pepperoni pizza or whatever, and you held it upside down, I don't think you just could suddenly have pepperoni all over the floor.
Well, not all over the floor if it's anti-gravity anyway. It'd be just floating around you.
Yeah. So just hold it.
Yeah, look, we could solve this quite easily.
We spent far too long on the anti-grav restaurant.
We have. I like that this is like I like that it's companion light, but it's also budget light. I like that this episode was like written in a hurry, essentially. This was like one of them episodes where, which is strange, right? Because it's like largely regarded as one of the best of this era.
But why did you get the sense it was written in a hurry?
It was. Russell said it was.
Was it?
He said it. Yeah, he said this
What's the
episode came
quote?
about. I can't pull up the exact. I don't fucking know the exact quote. I just remember reading this a couple of years ago.
Sounds like an incorrect source, if you ask me.
Look, I might have been wrong. I am paraphrasing, but yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it was written in like a hurry because they needed like an episode that mainly while Donna was while Catherine Tate was filming Turn Left, they needed an episode that was mostly contained, like low budget, and something that David Tennant could film while Catherine Tate was off doing Turn Left. So anyway, look, maybe bollocks, but it definitely feels like it's got that sense. Like it even down to like I mean, I know it's written into the show, but like there's not even green screen windows. It's like, yeah, we put the shutters down. We are really just on a bus set.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I tell you what, one thing I did quite like, once the Doctor gets on the shuttle, and the hostess pulls out like 10 screens with like a bunch of different like in-flight entertainment sources. It reminded me of, you know, that meme where like people watch films on TikTok with like Subway Surfer going on the side of it.
Yeah.
It felt like that, and I like that everyone was just kind of, it was for no one. Everyone else seemed like, this is too much. I don't like this.
I have a note here that says the bus is not very autism friendly because it was just immediately just the most aggressive sensory overload place to be ever. I was like, I would not handle this place well at all. It seems like an absolute nightmare. And the Doctor's immediately like, which probably is a bit autistic to be honest, he's immediately like, fuck this, and he just like sets it off and is like, I'm not having this at all.
See, that's like the positive way of looking at it. The negative way is like, imagine being stuck on a bus with someone like the Doctor. Like, imagine if you are one of the people that are like, oh, I like this. I'm just zeroed in on one of these pieces of entertainment.
No,
some guy comes in.
You can't zero in on one piece of entertainment though, because they're all overlapping and like playing at once, and they've all got like, she gave them all headphones, but it's all playing through the speakers anyway.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's true.
And it's a nightmare. You can't focus in on anything. He did everyone a favour.
I mean, to be fair, there wasn't a single person annoyed about it.
I know there's always like the idea of someone on a bus being like, well, we'll all have to talk to each other then. That's like everyone's worst nightmare, and for good reason, because literally no one wants to talk to strangers on the bus. We just want to get where we're going, and that's it, all right? But like 3 hours, there's like 6 people. Whatever. It's fine.
I had like the most, it was my wife's birthday. We went into London, and the train that we got on, it had already been delayed. We had to go to another station. And then that was the station where everyone was trying to get to London from that one specific platform. So it was rammed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got lucky. The train pulled up right where I was standing. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to be one of the first on. I can just run in, grab a seat. Right. This guy that was stood next to us ended up just kind of like friendly chatting to us for a bit. And I was like, cool, but I'm sure this will end soon. Anyway, we got on, and this guy managed to sit down. And then I had the most awkward encounter of my life where I just had to put myself first. And this guy went to me and went, oh, do you guys want to sit down here? And I went, no, it's fine. And I just walked to another seat. And I sat down, and I turned to my wife and I said, I just can't do that for an hour. It's a fairly long train. I just can't do that for an hour.
Was he within sight?
Maybe like half a carriage away.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty rude.
It was really rude. I felt terrible.
You should. That's really rude.
I couldn't do it. You know those people that are just like, they're great. God love them. But like, there's a time and a place, and I was tired. and I'd already like
the time and the place is never and nowhere.
yeah, exactly, and they should know that.
Never
quite
talk
frankly.
to me on a train or a bus or anything because like I have to take my headphones out and like it's just I just want to let me listen to my little podcast or my little music. It's mostly
Yeah.
podcasts, and then I'll just be in my own little world. I need. Oh, no one talks to each other. Good. You got nothing nice to say. I said on my podcast. Anyway,
The irony is we're probably preaching this to people that agree that are on the train listening to us.
everyone who listens to this is an introvert. I can guarantee it. Okay,
It's very true.
No one who's talking to people on buses listens to podcasts. All right, otherwise they'll be listening to their podcast.
Anyway, so you say fuck them screens. You're happy the Doctor turned them all off.
Call me a screen slaver from Incredibles 2 because I say fuck them screens.
All right, we get like a little montage of scenes of essentially of just various little slices of this 4-hour period.
We get introduced to the cast of characters, don't we?
Yeah,
we get a good little introduction. So we have Professor Peach. I don't know his actual name. Let's just say Professor Peach.
We're not doing Professor Peach.
We have Professor. No, that was Professor Plum. This is Professor Peach. I think it actually was
yes.
Professor Peach. Was it Professor Peach?
I don't know.
It was
now.
something. It was a fruit with a P, but like, what?
No, I'm just, this is not a Doctor Who podcast, is it? What are we doing?
What do you mean?
This is people. We're like, what was this guy's name? We can't remember. Let's make up one from him from a guy that had this same name a couple of episodes ago.
I don't know what you're getting at. I don't know what your issue is, quite frankly.
All right, I apologize. Yeah, Professor. Right, so we got Professor Peach and Professor Peach's like research assistant, student, kind of like.
Yeah, kind of like a sort of like grad student, but like clearly someone he doesn't take seriously or anything like that. Dee Dee, I believe her name was.
Yes, Dee Dee.
We got it was called Professor Hobbs and Shaw. We'll call him.
Okay, Professor Hobson.
So we got Professor Hobbs and Shaw. Then we got Mr. and Mrs. Tory.
Yes, yeah, very much so. And their son.
And their son, Merlin.
Merlin, yes.
Yeah, Goth Merlin.
What a goth surname. What a goth name is Jethro as well. Like
Well,
that's
I think that adds to it. You know, when you know, like there's like a very ordinary like parent, like a very ordinary couple who like have this son, and he's like you know he's got all goth to seem edgy and everything like this. He's got like long black hair and he's wearing like piercings and a studded belt and all like this. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Eugene" or some shit like this. You know?
yeah, he's still got that Tory name he was given.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like this little montage because it is just it feels like slices of like a house pie. You know, like bad house pies when you were younger, and you'd go into the kitchen and someone would be there, and you'd be like, "Guess I'm talking to you now." Like it feels all kind of like thrown together, and everyone's just kind of not really sure what's going on or who they're talking to.
I feel like we had very different experiences of house parties when we were younger. I won't say what I was doing, but it wasn't that.
Fair enough. Nathan, I don't know if you know this, but these shuttles never stop. But unfortunately, this one has. Something's
Can
gone
I finish
wrong.
going through the cast of characters? Is that okay?
I thought we'd done them all, didn't we?
Well, no, there's Leslie Sharp, who plays Sky.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Apologise to everyone now
I apologise, everyone.
and say you was wrong.
I was wrong.
Thank you. And say I was right.
Nathan was right.
Thank you. Yeah, Leslie Sharp, great actress who plays Sky. A big character for the episode, but first of all, she's just got divorced or whatever.
Yeah, I like that she's kind of she's standoffish, which doesn't help her case later on. But she's quite outspoken.
She's the person who just seems to want to be left alone at first.
Yeah.
She's got a book, and then she's like, I don't want anything to do with any of this. But then the doctor's talking to her while they have their chief or whatever, their chicken and beef, their chief. So, yeah.
Would that taste nice? Chicken and beef combo like that?
Yeah, it'd be fine.
It's not often that you have chicken and beef on the same plate, is it? As well.
No, not really. But it can't be. Can't be that different.
I like them both separately, so I'd imagine I wouldn't have had a bad time.
There you go.
There we go. Add lamb to it though, and it's not for me. I'm not a lamb fan.
Schleef. Chleef.
Oh, start the year as we mean to go on.
Yeah.
I like that she's kind of a bit like not grumpy, but she's very much like, yeah, give me my own space. But then she sees the Doctor fuck up the entertainment system, and she's just kind of got like a little, this guy might be my kind of guy.
Yeah.
I respect a man that has no respect for this awful TikTok mush brain system. But yeah, anyway, the path, so it stops. They come to like a halt, which never ever happens, so everyone's a bit kind of confused. And I don't know, I feel like this is... I don't know if you have this relationship with me, because when you watched it, you were a bit older for the first time. But like, no, right... This is right. You always say like this, but like I'm not just saying a fact as like a part of something I'm saying.
I know, but it's a fact that comes up a lot. Is what I'm saying. All right?
I'm working it into every episode.
Yeah.
This was one of like the first kind of like, I don't know, pieces of like media that I saw as a child. I guess when you were a teenager.
Surely you would have been a teenager. Wait, actually, maybe not.
2008. How old was I in 2008?
It was 12, wasn't you?
I might have been 12, yeah.
You was born 90... You don't even know when you was born. You was born 96, wasn't you?
Don't ask me to do maths on the fly. I was born in 97.
Yeah, all right, you was 11 then.
Yeah, I was 11, so I'm young enough. Right. No, but I genuinely... I think this was one of the first times I realised, like, there's, like, people talking the whole time for, like, the whole episode. Like, that can be just as interesting as, like, action and explosions and everything else. Like, I think this is one of the first times I, like, connected with something that was basically just tension building for, like, 40 long minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I like that. I like that. It reminded me of this quote that Christopher Eccleston had back in the day when him and Russell were on speaking terms, where he said something like, Russell's writing is good because if you can get children from a young age with good stories, that pushes them into like this kind of new, they can appreciate new forms of storytelling. That's what Doctor Who is great at doing. And I don't know, there was part of this episode watching it back today, and I was like, yeah, shit. Like watching this as a child, you'd either be completely turned away from it, like I don't care for this. There's nothing going on. It's one long big conversation, or you'd be like gripped by it, and it would kind of introduce a new form.
I don't think it is one big long conversation, though. It's not just like, people stood around a table and just talking for 40 minutes or whatever. Like, it is people talking, but there's also this very creepy factor in the middle of it as well that's woven in with the whatever the creature is and the repetition, and there's stuff that is fascinating, and you're naturally going to be interested to see what it is and how it develops and find out where it's come from and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it is just people talking necessarily.
No, and you are right, and there's parts of a scuffle in between and everything else. It is broken up, but like most of that style is brought in like through like the editing, like the person that plays Sky, her head turns sharply, and there's like a sound, like a sting sound effect, and it's like it's presented in the same way, but like the bulk of it is just a kind of character dynamics and just playing between them. Like I'd imagine if this was like a stage play, actors would fucking love it, because it's just a couple of people in a room just bouncing off of each other.
Yeah.
Whereas compare it to the last couple of episodes, we're running around an entire library planet and there's spacemen with flyers, and like there's a lot more to grip onto, but I think this manages to be just as interesting with a lot less. Which is
I think so too. But I don't think anyone would be put off by it.
No,
I don't think anyone would be like, "Oh, I'm bored of this. There's nothing happening," because I think there is. I think there's a lot happening.
There is plenty.
And not just like, oh, subtle stuff that dickheads don't notice, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there is a lot happening.
I'm just picturing like a child in a smoking jacket, like, I'm picking up on the on the anti-capitalism stances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's banging on the door. And oh wait, hang on. Before there's banging on the door,
Yeah, fucking hell. All right, let's miss half the episode, I guess.
Look, sometimes you can't make up your. Sometimes I go too quick for you, and other times I'm too. Shut up. What happens? Read me your second note that you wrote.
I already read you my second note.
All right, fine. The doctor goes to check out. He immediately picks up that there's some bullshit. They're being fed some keep the passengers calm bullshit.
All right, so the bus stops is, I think, what you're trying to get to, but you were panicking and couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on.
I was saying what I was saying. I said the bus stopped ages ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, and then you just talked about something else.
I was doing other things.
Okay.
I was making other points.
So the bus is stopped because there's someone in the way, and they're told it's all part of like it's perfectly routine or whatever, or anything like that. They're just resetting the engines or whatever, and the doctor's like, "Well, that's bullshit. I know what's going on here." So he goes up into the front cabin. He speaks to driver Joe and someone else, and
Mechanic Mick. I'm gonna
mechanic. I think his name was Claude, actually.
Okay. Oh yeah, we've also had a Mechanic Mick on the show as well.
Have we?
Mechanic Mickey.
Oh yeah, I guess that's correct. Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever called him Mick.
No, literally no one ever.
Well, then maybe I'm the first. All right, Mechanic Claude, and was it Driver Joe? Captain Joe?
Driver Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, did you ever watch this scene back and, like, try and find out what he was pointing at?
Yeah, when I was an idiot.
Yeah, it took me too long to realise, they obviously just didn't put anything.
Yeah, there's nothing there. It's very intentional that there's nothing there, you know? And every now and again, you'll see like a video prop up on TikTok, and it'll be like really zoomed in as if there actually is something to look at, and it's like, no, there's nothing there. It's very intentional that there is actually nothing there.
I respect the choice as well, because it is just it's supposed to get you to do exactly that. It's supposed to get you to fear something that you can't see or describe.
Yeah, of course. Fear of the unknown is always the scariest thing.
Yeah, but I quite like that. But yeah, it took me too long into. I don't know. I was probably an adult when I worked that out, and I just watched it. and I was like, hang on, I'm being duped here. Don't like this. So. Basically, he described. I think is it Mick? What I call him? Mechanic Mick?
Mechanic Claude.
Mechanic Claude. He describes it as like something dark. And I think, I don't know, does the doctor believe it at that point? Because he doesn't see it.
What?
Like that there's something out there. Is he like...
I think he believes that Claude saw something.
Yeah.
The doctor isn't the professor, okay? The doctor isn't someone who's be like, well, no, because I know how this planet works and nothing can survive out there, so there's absolutely no way that anything is out there, and you're wrong. Like, the professor is very much like that, because he cannot accept that, you know, there's stuff out there that he doesn't know about, or that he's wrong, or that his understanding of stuff is outdated or cannot be changed or whatever. He just cannot accept that fact. Throughout the entire episode, he's always like, there's nothing out there. There's, you know, his absolute refusal to accept, even when he is given the fucking most compelling evidence possible, he is still just, his absolute refusal to accept it is very interesting. But the doctor is like, he's always someone who will accept evidence, and he will accept, because he's seen all kinds of shit, so he's not going to be like, no, you're wrong, actually, there's nothing out there, and I am smart, so shut up.
Yeah, shut up, Claude.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're saying. I like that with the professor, that it's kind of there right from the beginning, and at first it kind of just seems like there's nothing malicious about it at first, and that's why this whole episode does that. Everyone changes subtly. But still staying very much within their character. But there's something about the professor where it starts and he's like, oh, the shuttle stopped. Well, it never stops. It can't have stopped. It's like, you felt it stop. But it's not malicious until it gets to the end when he's actually like just point blank refusing to take anyone else's point of view because it doesn't align with what he thinks is. I think the Doctor has a line to him where it's like, you know, it's lovely that you see the world in this way, but maybe the universe has got other ideas.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's, just
but
obviously...
he can't accept that there's ideas that don't align with what he knows and understands. To him, it's incomprehensible and not possible, and therefore it cannot be real. Even despite everything else telling him otherwise. It's just simply not possible.
And you get that kind of like Dee Dee as well, saying things that kind of go against what he's saying, and his response is just frustrating anger at her. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, Professor, maybe you should listen to other people. The episode's really good at that, to be fair. There's this whole, like, all of these characters, like, they were written in 2008, and they still feel like people. Like, we know people like this, or, like, we at least see public figures like this all the time.
I watching this last night, I was quite struck by how kind of ahead of its time the episode feels, really, because it very much feels like a response to like populist politics, like Trumpism and fear-mongering and all this kind of stuff. And because you have, you know, characters like Val, who is horrible, like truly horrible and quite frightening as a character, and like she really fits that archetype of like a, you know, middle-aged conservative woman who has like bought into all these fucking conspiracies that she reads on Facebook, and it's like fucking oh, you know, these people are trying to take stuff away from me, and I'm not going to let them take this away from me, because this is my life and I will protect and defend what I have, because this is how things are for me, and I'm not a bad person. I just want things the way I know, and I just want to be safe. I'm not a bad person for doing this. And it really feels like a response to all that stuff, which is, I don't know, it like I say, it seems very ahead of its time and like really, really clever. Like, because like populism, politics and that kind of stuff wasn't really around in 2008, so it's like, it's quite strange, or just a complete coincidence, but like it's very very well done, I think.
I think it's part and parcel with like it has just aged well. Like there is an element of coincidence there where like the world has proven itself to be in a place where this episode really fits nicely. Like it still holds up. But then also there is like it's not, when you take it down to its like broadest strokes, like Russell's obviously a bloke that has experienced bigotry in his life. Yeah. And so he's probably writing these characters from a place of just it's their way or the highway. Yeah. When you put it in that, unfortunately, that is sadly kind of like a timeless fucking thing that just exists in the world. But I like, even with other characters, there's this element of like Dee Dee, she's probably the smartest person in the room other than the Doctor, in terms of like I know the Professor maybe has more degrees or whatever the fuck, but he's like, his mind shuts him off to being smart. She actually is receptive and listens. But like, there's parts of the episode where Dee Dee is like, that she uses her intelligence to be like, oh no, maybe we actually could kill these people. Yeah. And the Doctor's just looking at like, what? Like, the best of you is still terrible. Like, stop. Like, yeah, I don't know. It fucking great group of characters. But anyway, we'll get to the kind of, they all take their individual shitty people moments. But we'll get to them. I like that there's kind of, after this, the Doctor goes back into the room, and this is when the episode really starts to spiral. Like, I think he says something along the lines of like, oh, you know, it's just an engine problem. Dee Dee picks up that it's not an engine problem. And then somehow it gets on to like, hang on, are we running out of air? And then everyone in the room is shouting.
Just quickly spiraling. They've just heard one thing out of context, and then it's just like, well, we're running out of air. We're going to die. We're all going to die. You just said we're all going to die. Like, no one said that. Like, just calm down, mate.
It's that, like, grapevine fucking social media thing, isn't it? Where someone says one thing, and then it gets taken out of context, and then it's like, Well, I mean, it's so far removed from what was actually said now that it's laughable
Yeah.
that you're getting this worked up.
Yeah, exactly. That's when the knock-in starts to happen, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
There's a great line leading into it's like before when like everyone in the arguing and they're all trying to be like, well, are we safe? Is everything fine? And the doctor's trying to reassure everyone. He just like, I'm telling you now, everything is fine. It was a great moment, man. It is so well timed, and then just the look on his face as like those knocks come in, and just the drop is like, fuck. Well, that's not going to help me, is it? That's.
Yeah, that's why this episode, obviously, like the third act of it gets very harrowing very quickly, but like this is that kind of part of the episode where there are even potential moments of like comedy where it's just things are spiraling so far out of the Doctor's control, and like normally I think there's obviously it's convenient that this is a companion light episode because it reinforces the point that normally there is someone that is more empathetic than the Doctor around to help with this scenario. Like,
Yeah.
there's normally a companion about to do a bit of crowd control while the Doctor can get his stethoscope out and listen to a wall and stuff.
I'm just trying to think how would Donna handle this episode, and
Oh,
I think someone would have got punched.
mate, someone absolutely would have got punched.
I reckon she'd have punched Val.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I like it. That being said, I think there is this great moment where the Doctor has his stethoscope out and he spends and I think this is because there is no companion there. He spends so long putting it up to the wall and like he's doing his checks. He's trying to work out what he can figure out, what kind of little nuggets of information he can get to try and control the situation. But he does that for so long whilst ignoring all the people spiraling behind him.
Yeah.
That like by the time he comes back to the conversation, he's lost control of the room, and he never gets it back. It's just from that point on, it's just every single time he regains some composure, someone just says some other heinous shit.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's like, no, we're going backwards now. This is not helpful. But yeah, what happens? We've got the hostess opens the door, and Claude and Joe dust. They're atom boys.
Yeah, the thing is gone. I think is. Oh yeah, that is this bit. Yeah. So they've gone. They've been taken away, and then there's the knocking all around the cabin and stuff, which is quite scary. Really great tension building. No one has any idea what's out there. The professor again refuses to accept that anything is out there, despite the constant knocking and everything like that. Yeah, quite scary and just really interesting.
I like that it. I don't. I remember watching this when I was younger, and there was this moment where I actually like felt subverted in that it does go for Skye, and Skye has this moment where she's like, "Oh God, it's coming for me," and it's very scary. And there's a few slashes, and then when we check back in on her, she is kind of. What position is she? She's kind of hunched up in a ball.
She's kind of like cradled herself. Oh, she's like made herself very small and hunched up. Really.
Yeah, and like as a child, I don't know if I understood why that they did it like this. But when she spins around and she looks wiry and creepy.
Yeah,
but there's no like makeup. There's no wound. There's no. She hasn't got like sharp teeth or black eyes or anything creepy.
No.
It's very much just an unhinged human. And I remember feeling subverted as a kid, being like, oh, I thought it'd be more scary. I thought there'd be something terrifying. But like as an adult, I'm watching it being like, oh yeah, no, I mean that's what the entire episode is about, isn't it? It's just look how fucking ugly humans can be.
Yeah.
And it's like the most terrifying thing in that room is just a deranged fucking shell of a creature in human form.
I think the most terrifying thing in that room is the humans.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think you can have the argument. You know, what is the monster of this episode? Is it the fucking shadow creature, or is it the humans? Is it the people on the bus? Because I think that argument can be made.
I mean, the creature on the bus, it can't get as far as it gets without the people without the humans.
Yeah,
like it quite literally can't. But yeah, I like the this episode does something really fascinating where, and I think a lot of people have had this observation, where it takes away the Doctor's best weapon, which is always his words and his ability to reassure, and also his ability to like kind of word vomit his way out of trouble. And that's not an option here, because the more he speaks, the more this creature learns, at least he assumes from the get-go. So he's kind of just powerless. And again, it's just one of them things where if he can't control the room...
Sky is repeating everything. We should probably say that.
Oh, yes. So she's going back and forth. These scenes are brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Like, just that eye contact between them both. And it's like, oh, this is scary stuff.
Yeah. Right? And it's so well done. From an acting point of view, it's like so well done the way she's like just able to mimic everyone and follow on from what they're saying. I think the most impressive part is when they go through Pi to like 30 places or whatever. Because first of all, the ability to recall that perfectly is hard enough on its own. But then to do that at the same time as someone who is doing it, but like 4 numbers ahead of you and still recall it perfect. That's fucking insane. Like,
you ever done that thing to your mate where they're like taking down a phone number and you're like 3, 7, just to wind them up? You say random. Yeah. Like imagine that.
It's like when we're like, because we do these over Zoom and like we all sing a song sometimes, and like because there's a natural delay, like one of us is always a little bit behind, and then we try to compensate for that and slow down a little bit, but then the other person slows down, so it doesn't quite work. It's like it's natural instinct to want to match up to what else is going on. So the ability to completely do that, like a few steps behind, it's very impressive.
It is fun that Dee Dee says like, no one could have done that. No one could have repeated all of that. And I'm like, well, they did it. Like, because someone had to do it. They had to perform that scene. What do we get here? This is kind of what I was saying earlier, where it gets a little bit hard to talk about the specifics. Like, this is where I've just kind of got more general notes on the stuff that people are saying and, like, character-wise, what it would mean for them. Because it's kind of like, this is where it basically now, from this point onwards, it's just... essentially the bus people, the humans getting worse and worse throughout the episode. So I don't know what, like, who interests you here? What goes on here that you want to talk about?
I think it's interesting. Well, this is where like the real characters kind of like come out of their shell, and like the people start to, the more scared that people get, the more they start to like react and just make themselves out to be quite horrible, really. I think it's interesting, like once Sky starts not repeating but matching along with what they're saying, like at the exact same time. I feel like that's very interesting, and like the way it's almost like a Mofism. Like we spoke, last week's about the Mofism, how like you don't even notice it at first. You don't even notice that the repeating has stopped, and then suddenly it's like, oh, your voice sounds weird. There's like this weird little like tone underneath it. It almost sounds like robotic, or like there's some voice filter on you for some reason. But then you realize what it is, and it's like, oh shit, that's quite scary.
It's I kind of caught it a lot watching it earlier today, where there is just this it's just this undertone, and I'm like, and it had me sat there thinking as well. I was like, I wonder if they did this all on set, or whether like she got in a booth and recorded all of this to exactly their tones, because it's everyone, and this is this is a scene where everyone's shouting over everyone.
I think it would have been both. I think they would have done it on the set, but I also think they would have ADR'd it as well, because they would have had to, because you wouldn't be able to pick it up that cleanly on the actual set. And it does weird stuff, like when like the camera focuses in on her, like it switches. Like what you hear switches from, like, let's say the Doctor to then Sky. You hear her version of it and stuff. Yeah,
I like this one where it's like, it's Mr. Tory, and he's like, "Stop scaring my wife," and it cuts back to her, and she's like, "My wife," like really. And that's another thing that I love, right? Because it's the Doctor. I tell you what, I want to get your take on this, because this is a real interesting part of it for me that I hadn't really considered until today. Is that this is a story that works so well with specifically the 10th Doctor.
Yeah.
Because he, as we've spoken about many a time, he has this need to prove his intelligence. Like, yes, he's the Doctor and he's compassionate and he has empathy for everyone and he loves as much as he can. But there's also this, he is vain and he is a show-off and he does like to be the smartest person in the room. And when he knows he is, he likes to go on these big sprawling speeches about how he can save the day and all of this. And in this scenario, it's kind of really difficult because the more he says, the more he makes these people feel insecure. Like, the smarter that he presents himself to be kind of makes these people be like, oh, so you think you know better than us?
And again, I think this is what I'm saying. I think this perfectly ties into like populist politics as well.
Yeah.
Because when you have people who actually know what they're talking about, and when you have like actual fucking scientists who have done like research into what the actual thing is or whatever, and are presenting you with cold hard facts, and they're telling you what they know, you still get people being like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're paid off by the media or all this kind of shit." And it's
Big Pharma have got to you.
yeah, and it's just the absolute refusal to accept that anyone of like intelligence is now suddenly the enemy, and they're like the elite and all this kind of like strange propaganda and that kind of stuff.
It's that insecurity, isn't it? When you're challenged and you don't have a legitimate thing to say back, you go, "Well, fuck you! I'm better than you." Yeah,
and 10, like, he can't stop like digging himself into a hole, really. Almost like there's a really good moment. I think I spoke about it before on the podcast, but like one of the best moments of this episode is like when everyone is starting to turn on him and they're like, well, what makes you so like fucking, why are you the person who's like taking charge and all this? And they're all like ganging up and questioning why he's trying to, or why he knows everything. And then he just has the moment where he's like, he just resigns to it and he just shouts out, because I'm clever. And then there's just like deafening silence where you can hear a pin drop and everyone's like, well, there it is then.
Yeah.
Mr. fucking clever clogs over here, mate.
Yeah. That's the best thing, because in any other Doctor Who episode, that would have been the moment where everyone went, oh. And then the Doctor was able to regain control of the room. But that moment where you, like you say, you can hear the pin drop and then it becomes like, oh, and there it is. So you do think you're better.
Yeah, so you're saying we're not clever then, Mr. fucking scientist man or whatever.
That's something I love as well. It's this we spoke about like social media and like how people infer different meanings and all the stuff. I think we spoke about that on the phone a couple of days ago, but like, oh no, that would have been Christmas. Maybe a week or so ago. But there is this kind of thing about being online, and if you argue with anyone, where unless you sum up every single thing that you mean, they will just take what you didn't say and go, oh, so you obviously think that about this then? Where it's like, I don't like the Doctor says something. I wrote it down with something he says. Oh, he says like, he says, she can't do any harm to us. She's still weak. And then Dee Dee goes, so it's getting stronger. And he's like, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
You said that. And again, because I'm clever. Oh, what? So we're not? I also didn't say that.
Yeah.
I just said that I am clever because I am.
I think there's a very telling moment with Val's character where it is when they start to like gang up on the Doctor, and I think it's the hostess who's saying like, he didn't even book, he just like turned up or whatever, he just like showed up to the bus, and then Val just quickly goes, what, like an immigrant? And you're just like, oh, okay.
People can book buses, Val.
That's very telling about your character.
Yeah. I'd say like, of all of it, that's probably the most clear-cut, plain as day, this is what Russell meant by that.
I think that's interesting, because then you can look back at stuff earlier in the episode, and you can look like even like the story that, when they're all having a laugh at the beginning of the episode, they're talking about whatever the thing with the pool was, and there's just that offhanded comment about like some like alien or whatever, the one with the thing like that, and it's like, oh, what do you mean by that? It's just a very subtle thing, but I think once with context you can look back at it and be like, interesting. Okay.
And we've spoken as well before, the Doctor is a racist, so naturally he went along with it. The Doctor's always been doing some racism in the show.
I don't know if I don't think the Doctor's racist.
No, but he's very quick to use signifiers, isn't he? He's very quick to be like, oh, you know, them things with this.
What?
He does it a lot. We've said it before. The Doctor's a big race. We did a TikTok about it. I can't remember. We did a TikTok about the Doctor being a racist.
I don't have nothing to do with TikToks. I don't know what I've never seen.
No, but you're in the podcast where the TikToks are from.
Yeah, but I don't know what the TikTok is. Anything I say could end up as a TikTok, all right?
It was very tongue-in-cheek, and I just remember us getting a few comments on it, like, the Doctor isn't racist, and I was like, TikToks. TikTok people, man. I can't be dealing with this.
The trouble is, I think why I have nothing to do with the TikToks is because I can't stand any of the comments because, like, you'll say something and then, like, and obviously it's cut down because then it used to fit within, like, the minute thing or whatever. We're not posting the whole fucking episodes on TikTok. It's marketing. And to be honest, it's really just so we can get more people to listen. This will not end up as a TikTok, I'm guessing. But then you always get people who, like, obviously they haven't listened to the episode, but then they're like, well, actually, I think if you're later in the episode, this happens. Or like, yeah, we say that in the thing. Just shut the fuck up, all right? We know. We know.
But this is, I mean, like, that ties perfectly into this. Like,
I can't remember who said
it,
but I don't know who said it, but I think someone said once, like, the way, if you want to find out something on the internet, the absolute quickest way to do it is post the wrong answer.
Yeah, like, so true. Yeah,
you will just get corrected like immediately. Like, don't ask the question, just post the wrong answer, and you will get so many people telling you that that's incorrect immediately.
We still get comments on the TikTok we made from our other podcast.
Lord of the Rings one or whatever.
Yeah, we said that I mean, like, in fairness, we were wrong, but by the time we posted the TikTok, we both already knew, but we posted the TikTok anyway for a laugh.
Yeah,
right. And that we said like Aragorn was young or something, and a bunch of fucking nerds just rode in and were like, oh, I don't know if you know this if you haven't read the books.
And also, what makes me laugh is, like, when you go on that TikTok and you open the comments, you can see there's already so many comments there saying, actually, I think you'll find that's Aragorn's species. But then they think, maybe I'll be the one to tell them this.
Yeah, I'll be the one that gets through.
And they'll listen to me telling them this.
Do you remember I sent you a screenshot of the... We'll get back to Doctor Who in a minute. But I sent you a screenshot where, like, some guy actually fucking sent me, like, he found my, like, Facebook account.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I sent this to you, and he sent me a message, like, and it was genuinely along the lines of, like, how about before you talk about something on the internet that you know fucking nothing about, you actually fucking read the books. The extended editions are right there. You can fucking watch them. And like, oh, why'd you come pretending you know everything? And I just replied with, like, 5 Homelander memes or something. Like, I think whatever was on my phone's camera roll, I was like, have this.
Wow.
Just genuine fucking freaks out there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok to see little clips of this whenever Lawrence feels like he can be asked to do them.
They're sporadic, all right? We've made our deal for the new year.
I think there's been like one this whole month.
Sporadic.
Yeah, very sporadic.
The first month there was like 20.
Yeah.
But anyway, to tie back in, we can that's what people do online. Just they correct, and if you don't say, you know, you don't have the whole context of something, they'll just pretend that you thought something else that you didn't because it fits with what they wanted to say. And that's what's going on here, basically. It's just a bunch of people kind of spurring each other on.
I think building off on that and the idea that, like, they'll if you don't say everything, they'll take what you didn't say and run with that. Like, there's a moment where, like, the Doctor he's like trying to again justify and take control, and he says, like, whatever's out there, that's a brand new life, and I can't help it. I find that fascinating. And then I think it's Vala say, oh, so you wanted this to happen? And he's like, no, I absolutely not. But then they're like, oh, you was her, you was talking to her at the front, and like he was talking to you. He talked to everyone. He talked to the whole bus. But like, it's just this idea of fear, just, I don't know, just taking its part and not making you. I don't even know if it's not making you think straight or if it's like just bringing out the worst in you or what, but
I think it is
clever.
very much bringing out the worst, because I think every single one of them, they show like critical thinking in that moment, where like 'cause you look back at that montage, and you know Dee Dee's quite kind of meek and a bit shy as a character. Jethro is very much like isolated, headphones on, don't talk to me, I'm a cool goth.
Yeah.
And then the other two, Mr. and Mrs. Tory, are really loud and telling their funny like tourist stories, which is hilarious when they have a problem with immigrants and they're talking about them doing the wrong thing in someone else's culture.
Oh,
as
literally,
well.
yeah. They're like, we hate immigrants, but we live in Spain or whatever.
Yeah.
We got a villa in Spain.
But yeah, no, it doesn't apply to them, obviously.
Oh no, they're not immigrants. They're expats. It's completely different, Lawrence. It's completely different.
But like when that twist later on, like the professor isn't kind-hearted anymore. He's strict and stern, and these Mr. and Mrs. Tory turn utterly venomous.
Yeah,
like both of them just jump straight to aggression, and Dee Dee takes charge of the room more than a few times because she's technically like she's the word of science that isn't the doctor, so they turn to her a little bit. I don't know. There's something about like I think it is just the worst of them. They all absolutely know what they're doing. I think this is just a part of themselves they never knew existed because they'd never been in this scenario before.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, part of that human nature aspect that, like, I think everyone's scared of a side of themselves coming out. Like, everyone always says, oh, could you kill someone? Like, is that something you could feasibly do? And you just don't know whether you have it in you.
You don't know until you're in that situation. It's so impossible to like, because sure, in the moment, like when you're just talking with your friends, you can be like, yeah, I think I could, but when it actually comes down to it, like when it actually comes down to you being there with a knife or whatever, and it's so much of a different scenario.
All right, one person I really did want to speak about in all of this is Jethro as well, because I find Merlin,
Gothic Merlin.
Yeah, Goth Merlin. I said that when he came on the TV. I went, hey, it's Merlin.
Yeah.
I've never seen an episode of Merlin.
No, me neither. No, I've seen the first episode, actually. But
did he ever do anything with Raven? Raven of the Day. Not that so Raven, but Raven, the Scottish guy that loves
No,
Finn.
there were two different shows.
Yeah, but they're both wizards of the era, weren't they?
Yeah, but fucking hell, I don't know. Deal or No Deal and Tip and Point are both game shows, but they never did a fucking crossover.
No, but like, you know, like fucking, I'm pretty sure they did the Sweet Life on Deck with Hannah Montana.
On the fucking Disney Channel, Lawrence.
I don't know what this was on. What was Merlin on?
BBC.
Oh, all right, fair enough. But I don't know. I can't speak to the BBC cinematic universe. I don't know what they've done.
Yes, you do. We're talking
I know
about it now.
All right, yeah. Jethro is one of them characters that I like. I find him maybe not the most interesting out of this bunch, but he's very quietly fascinating when you look at like how he moves and what his actions are. Because at the start, he's pretty much the only other person that doesn't immediately jump on the we should throw her out the cabin bandwagon. He's actually quite confidently going, I don't think we should kill anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty against that. But then Mr. and Mrs. Tory, who are his mum and dad, they, like, poke and prod at every kind of doubt that he has. And every kind of... It's not like twisting the knife, but every time he raises a concern, they go, yes, like, finally, my boy gets it. And, like, they coddle him with his own fear.
That's a good point, Lawrence, and we'll discuss that more after this ad break.
Thanks, Nathan.
Well, we're back from the ad break.
We are, and this was natural.
They're like when they're talking about like if they can, you know, if they should throw her out of the cabin and kill her. Jethro's like, oh, I don't know, I don't maybe think we shouldn't or whatever. And then like Val's like, shut up, he's just a boy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just he's just a silly little boy. He doesn't know anything that's going on. And then later in the episode when he's kind of then on like, oh, maybe we should do something about it. She's like, yeah, Jethro's saying so. Well done, Jethro. Good for you, Jethro. Jethro, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and Jethro now gets a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, like, I don't know, like, it's very gaslighty in terms of, like, parenting, but it's also, I think it also speaks to, like, how there is this bigotry that just never dies, because like people always speak about how like, you know, once the fossils of our era, once like the dinosaurs all die off, then the world will be a better place. But unfortunately, they've taught all their fucking kids how to be the next lot of dinosaurs. So they'll always be like, I do feel the world leans more progressively, but like, unfortunately, there will always be people that have been brought up to hate change.
Yeah.
And like Jethro, obviously, you can see that it hasn't affected him up until this point, but like when shit hits the fan, they work him. I do think they start manipulating him, and I don't even think they're consciously doing it. It's just that like right they have as parents that they perceive that they can basically, we'll get him on side because he's just another name and just another kind of vote on our camp, essentially. But yeah, interesting character, I think, for sure.
I didn't take that much note of him, to be honest.
Yeah, look, he's not doing much. Most of the stuff that Jethro does in the episode is like, it's kind of like, he's there to be like, wait, hang on, she's now copying you. Oh, hang on, she stopped copying you. Like,
What's his voice?
Wait, what?
What's this voice? I love it when you do a little voice. What's his voice?
That's the voice that he does, because he's kind of got like a little posho voice. Yeah.
Is that Jethro's voice?
What does he say? He has that line where he's like,
"We've broken down in the middle of nowhere."
In the middle of nowhere, out of nowhere, he does this crazy weird voice. Weird character, but I do think there is comments being made on like a parent and child relationship there. And it's very funny that he's also played by like a man who is clearly 30 years old.
Merlin.
Oh, this is the other thing. You kind of touched on it earlier, where they're like Mr. and Mrs. Tory just kind of spout off untruths to the point where like they start just straight up lying about stuff that they saw. Like when Skye does start.
See, I don't even think it's lying. I think that they've convinced themselves it happened because.
Oh really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're flat out lying. It's like. They're so far into this fucking rabbit hole, they actually believe the shit they're saying now. Like the fucking, they're so deep in their own bullshit and their own fear that they're fucking convinced. Like, because Val says at one point it passed into him. I saw it happen. Like you didn't. Nothing happened. There was no physical transfer or anything. Nothing happened.
They're cutting down on the budget this episode. There was no effect.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't even necessarily think it's them lying. I think it's just a matter of fact of they're so caught up in fear that they do believe it now. Yeah.
Why do you think that they so quickly believe that Skye is okay again? Like, because they trust her quite immediately again.
I think it's a thing of comfort. It's more about, it's not necessarily a case of what makes sense. It's what is most like comforting and makes them feel safe. Really, if they have, if they can like pin it on the doctor. And they can say it was him all along, and he's always been the bad one, and he's now the problem that we need to deal with. That's what they know. That's like, because otherwise they're dealt with the fear of the unknown. They don't know what it is. They don't know where it came from or anything like that. If they can say that it is the doctor and it's always been him, then they're like, oh, that makes sense. It's him. Let's kick him out. Problem solved. We're done.
So it's like that seeking answers to just because they have no idea how else to cope with it kind of thing.
Yeah, it's more a case of making them feel safe rather than actually addressing the problem, really.
Right, yeah.
That's what I think.
What's that, like fucking plaster over an axe wound kind of situation? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because that was the only thing that I was like, maybe I did, that makes sense the way you've said it there, but like while I was watching it, and I was kind of like, they're very quick to be like, because she's obviously not right. She's not Skye.
Yeah, no, but I think that's why it works, because they're all so quick to ignore that part of it, because Skye is talking in this very villainous way, and like, and like,
I'm back, I'm me.
Exactly. But that's just, we'll ignore that and focus on the issue at hand here and all this kind of stuff, and the fact that like she even runs up to her and gives her a hug, like we've been friends all along, where like, and all this kind of stuff. True. I think it's very telling about like these people and how they deal with the situations and stuff.
They're being like
honestly,
willfully blind on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the fact that they're happier to accept that this is the answer because it provides some level of comfort, really. Even if if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, you can realize that's not the case, as other people do, as Dee Dee does, as the hostess does. They start to actually question it and think maybe that's not the case. And even like the professor, who's been a bit of a dick, but he also starts to like, yeah, maybe not. But then they're immediately like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, grab him, throw him out now. And they're immediately met with this aggression and hostility whenever anyone pushes back on what makes them feel safe and comforted. And yeah, I think it's fascinating, really.
It is, yeah. On that, like, kind of picking him up and pushing him out the thing, what I will say is that for a while now, for over maybe 6 months, you've been harping on about the superior red Converse, right? But what I will say about his white Converse here is that although this may seem like a flaw, they seemingly got the Doctor jammed.
Okay, I don't think you can pin that specifically on them being the white. I feel like
saved the Doctor's life,
regardless of what color they were.
Yes, but the thing is, you can't prove that. I can prove that the white Converse had this power to save the Doctor.
What about the red Converse in Smith and Jones? When it absorbed the radiation.
He put all the radiation in a shoe, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you. Okay, fine.
I feel like it's 1-1.
All right, fine. I hope there's more shoe conflict later on, so we can put a trilogy capper on it.
He had on a blue shirt, which was
I like this look. I like his t-shirt and open collar blue shirt, brown shirt vibe. Suit
messy.
Vibe.
It's a bit messy.
It is, but that's nice, isn't it? It's his holiday mode clothes.
Holiday mode. Yeah. I don't know. I just prefer the blue. It's just so much nicer and cleaner. It feels cleaner. The brown suit feels dirty. It feels like it hasn't been washed.
But that's what I like about it, because Ten is just all over the shop, isn't he?
That's gross. And he lives in that gross TARDIS, which also hasn't been washed.
Yeah, but that's what that's what I like about it. I reckon
that TARDIS fucking stinks.
Oh yeah, it almost the way I've pictured the Russell TARDIS smelling is like a changing room, like kind of damp socks.
Yeah.
After like a wet PE lesson.
Vague BO and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like various BO as well. Yeah. From like several men. It's created this kind of must in the air.
That's gross. I don't know why you like it. It's so gross.
With Lynx Africa over the top of it. You know, like concealed BO, that smell.
Did you get a Lynx Africa set this Christmas?
I didn't, but I actually did get a few smellies. I got a few like Ted Bakers and such.
Sorry, I forgot you're from the I forgot about your rich, extravagant childhood. How foolish of me.
It's aftershave, Nathan. A bottle of aftershave is like 10 quid.
Of me to suggest that you would get something as common as a Lynx set for Christmas. I do apologise. Did you bring back your Doctor Who toys?
I did, yes. They're in my suit. I haven't unpacked the suitcase yet, but they're in the bottom of the suitcase.
Have you been home for a few days now?
I've been ill, Nathan.
Okay, well.
And also, no, I got home, a couple of days.
Yeah.
I've been unwell, okay? Tomorrow is my sort-out day. Tomorrow's the day I'm going to unpack. No one cares about this. What else goes on? Right, yeah, the Doctor, I do find it quite amusing. I know tension-wise it's because there's conversations that need to happen.
Yes.
But it is funny that, like, this guy's like, can someone help me pick this guy up? Like, can someone help me pick up the Doctor and throw him out? And it's like, just drag him, man. Someone unbuckle his shoe or something.
You ever picked up a man?
Yeah, right, yeah.
They're
but like,
heavy. You know, it's not like just picking up a fucking, like, a box of paper or something.
No, but I feel he is comically stuck. Like, and it's implied that his shoe is stopping this. Because the way his shoe kind of hooks on.
But I feel like if you have the weight of a man in your hand, and they've gone limp, first of all, that's not helping things as well. And his, I think that makes sense.
Okay, fair enough.
Shoe thing. I think you're wrong.
No, fine. I do like that when push comes to shove, everyone is kind of. It only seems like the Mr. Tory would have been the one to actually throw someone out, like because the old professor, like he's somewhat helping, but he's very conflicted, and Jethro's just having a breakdown in the corner. Like
the professor, like as the Tory cunt is like dragging him off, the professor comes and like grabs the doctor's arm to also help, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? That is not going to help. Grab his legs or something, you idiot."
It's almost like he's like he wants to be on the right side of it, but he wants his hands clean.
Yeah, doesn't want to actually commit to actually doing anything. Yeah, but while this is going on, that's when like Dee Dee and the hostess, they start to notice that like. It just doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. Sky is like she's got some weird vibes going on about everything she's saying seems weird, and then the doctor is like just I don't know. I think it's fascinating the way like Sky was like the way they repeat and stuff. It's different. It's not like an exact 1-for-1 match. Like with Sky. It was like exact, like she was doing it just as they were doing it. But with the doctor, it's like it's almost like he's pained. There's something like strained about him. It's like it's not as quick, and it's a little bit like it's been forced out of him almost, which is quite interesting.
I read it as like it's a spreading, right? Like this is will become a plague. Like the more people that are in close vicinity to this, it will kind of take them over. But I also. There's this thing always with the doctor that like whenever the doctor gets affected by something, it affects him slower because he's the doctor.
Yeah, I think it's more a case of him like trying to fight back against it.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we had it in the Sun, 42. The Sun takes over the doctor. He's fighting back against that.
Yeah.
I do wonder what that looks like. Do you reckon it's like a Professor Xavier mind battle? The Doctor and a big Sky fighting each other in his head.
We do see one of those at one point.
Do we really?
We do, yeah. We have that to come.
Okay, don't tell me. I don't even know. I don't even want to know who or what.
I won't, but yeah, we do. At least one, possibly more, but there's one that I can think of, which, yeah, we actually do have that.
Incredible news. Okay, cool.
Oh, no, I can actually think of two now. I can think of two examples now. Two different
shit.
Doctors as well, so there we go.
Oh, okay, spread out then, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a one-trick pony. Right. So what kind of... This is kind of, I guess, where it all begins to wrap up, because you've got... Yeah, like you say, Sky's vibes are way off.
Yeah.
There are certain shots of her where, like... What was the actor's name?
Sylvia Sharp?
Yeah.
Leslie Sharp.
So Leslie Sharp's performance is very, like... There's just something fucking menacing about it. Like, when you've kind of got these very good shots that are composed with everyone screaming around her and completely ignoring her, and she's just got this devilish evil grin.
Yeah.
And it's like, you really... Like, I think that's the definitive moment where, like, yeah, she's not the monster. She's just able to... She's this alien creature that we know nothing about that has seen an opportunity to...
She's not.
No, well, no, but like...
She's the vessel.
Yes, yeah.
This creature, yes.
But she's at the wheel. Like, as in, like, the creature is at the wheel.
The creature's at the wheel, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like... there's just something about how... Like, earlier on, like you said, the Doctor was very much like, you know, I find it fascinating. That is new life over there. This is potentially the first of its kind. And the first thing, its first impression of humankind is you're all a bunch of, basically, the Doctor doesn't say it like this, but they're all a bunch of snivelly cowards that want to throw it off the bus and pretend they never saw it.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is the fucking... it does see that. It does take exactly that. And it goes, all right, well then it adapts to survive and goes, all right, I'll spread more of this. I'll spread more distrust and more uncertainty.
I'll become like you.
Yeah. And it's just yeah, I don't know, there's something about like that's what I was talking about earlier when like there's no makeup on Skye. There's no like she is just when you look at her just a cold shell of a human being. And
it's a creature that learns and mimics and copies to get what it wants, which might sound familiar to recent Doctor Who episodes.
Which
we will discuss during the letters and email segment.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So,
are we breaking our rule? Are we talking wobbly yonder? We'll tiptoe.
No, we'll tiptoe.
Okay, all right.
Okay. We're not breaking any rules, all right? We never break rules here. We haven't talked about the church on Ruby Road, and we never will.
That is true.
Well, we will at some point, but like...
No, we'll skip over it.
No, we won't.
We're steadfast in this rule.
No.
But yeah, all right. Yeah, so all right. So the hostess notices that everything is not as it seems, and basically,
yeah. I love the moment when like the hostess is noticing it, and she's like looking at the Doctor as Skye is saying like "molto bene, Alonzi" and all this sort of stuff. But then like Skye looks back at the hostess as well with this almost like not quite fearful, but like this like. I don't know, just this look on her face, like "fuck, I've been rumbled" sort of thing.
Yeah,
like very interesting.
There's absolutely this. I went too far. I pushed it too far, and someone's caught.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she grabs her, and this was established earlier on. But there's like a 6-second window of like shield by that door.
Yeah.
And if you put someone in there for 6 seconds, you're just gonna get sucked out, and the door's gonna shut as like a security fail-safe thing.
You'll get what?
They get sucked out.
My go, is it?
Fuck's sake, Nathan. Oh, no. Well, we'll see if that makes the episode, won't we? Fuck me. My go, is it?
Oh, anyway, go on.
They get sucked out. Be interesting if you have cut that.
Shut up.
Yeah, so, and then immediately it's solved. It is very much a problem of like, and I think that there's an element of like slight vindication there, that the second they were sucked out, right, it does, stop it, the problem immediately does go away.
Yeah, the Doctor's released after that. He's himself again.
And I think that there's like, I don't know, I would hate that people went away from it thinking, yeah, we should have just done that to begin with. But you kind of feel like that is what people would go away from that with. At least Mr. and Mrs. Story would.
Well, fucking Val has that line where she's like, I said it was her. And it's like, you fucking just absolute piece of shit, man.
Perfect, like, punctuation point on that kind of segment of the episode. It's just you
learned absolutely nothing from the whole ordeal.
And it's after that silence of like, I don't know, I think that they do a really, really good job, and the show doesn't shy away from sitting in the shame, like the absolute shame of that moment. Yeah. Where like, you know, the start of the episode, everyone was kind of, you know, leaning over seats, chatting, laughing away, and now they're all pretty much as farthest away as that. There's a 2-meter spread between every single one of them.
And then the biggest moment of shame when the Doctor asks, "What was her name? What was the hostess's name?" No one knows. Don't have a clue because she was just staff to them. What her name was doesn't matter. It's not important.
That's fucked, man. It's just an episode. I don't know. Like I always think saying stuff like this sounds a bit wanky because, like, I don't know. I like to think I'm not as terrible of a person as these people are, but it does hold a mirror to certain aspects of people.
You are pretty bad.
Oh, well, that's true. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'll remember that next time we're in a shuttle bus and I have to throw someone out. No, I don't know. There is a part of it where, like, I don't know, it just makes you sit with yourself for a moment. You go kind of like, ugh. Like, because you don't know how you'd be in that scenario.
I know I'll be fine.
And I would also be fine. We know, because we're
I reckon you'd be more like Val.
You...
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you think so.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and then we kind of so we get the doctor. The distress ship comes and picks them up, and off they go. What's that transfer looking like? From ship to ship.
Oh, probably just like a docking thing. It'll dock on the door.
Yeah. Vacuum pack them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You get, and then just kind of like a nice little scene of the doctor going back and just being with Donna, and Donna's very much like, I'm glad I sat this one out by the sounds of it. Sounds fucked. But the one thing I really loved, because obviously I think this episode does well to sit in like I said, in the shame of it, and it does make. I wouldn't have wanted this to end on like a lighter note, because it is an episode that perfectly punctuates like people can be real shitty people, and I just love the ending of that joke that they have, the running joke of like Donna says something, and the doctor's like, no, don't do that, and then the double meaning of kind of how that is taken this way.
Yeah, I don't know. I found that odd. I found like, because it kind of like, it was ending on a joke, but then the tone was off, and it was this weird mix of the two. It was like, we'll end on a light-hearted joke, but also still be serious and glum at the same time. And I don't know, it felt weird to me. It just felt weird to just having the doctor be like, no, don't do that.
I felt like it was just more of the kind of the same of how last week wrapped up, just kind of that fun, like, a light plaster on the doctor and Donna's immeasurable pain of just like how much shit they've just had to swallow the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, he smiles, but it's like it's David Tennant does it really well, where there's just, you look in his eyes and he's broken completely, but he's got a half grin on, and he's happy that Donna's there to distract him.
He has, I know the exact smile you're talking about. He has the best example of that in the End of Time Part 2, which we'll get to.
Okay, I can't remember the exact moment you're thinking about.
It's towards the end, when someone asks him a question. Perhaps someone is signing the book.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay,
yeah. Oh, we'll get to that scene.
But that's that. Really, that is Midnight. All in all, banger. I just want to do some quick little things which we didn't talk about, but I think it does worth mentioning. First of all, the Lost Moon of Poosh sounds lovely, and I wonder if we'll ever revisit that. Who knows? Second of all, Rose.
Oh, Rose is on the telly, yeah.
Rose is on the bus in the telly, which I alluded to this a few weeks ago. Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
None. At all. I know it's like Rose trying to like reach the barriers of this universe or whatever, or something like that. But like, why is she on a bus? I don't know, man.
She's gonna have no fucking luck on this bus as well, because this bus has got 8 million screens on it that are all doing different things.
Yeah,
it's ironic, isn't it, that the one sound system that doesn't work is the one the Doctor probably needed to hear the most, which was Rose going, "Doctor, oi,
yeah,
turn around."
Very strange.
I wonder if Rose knows where that's transmitting, or if just suddenly every screen in the universe just has a big Rose on it.
What?
Like, she's not following the Doctor, is she? She doesn't know where the fuck he is, so she's just pissing in the wind and hoping for the best.
I think it's like kind of honing in on him somehow. Like,
okay.
Yeah, because the last one was in the TARDIS, wasn't it?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
I don't think she's just flat out broadcasting to every screen ever. I think it's somehow honing in on him.
Everyone's went, oh, what was that for a second? What the fuck? All right. Any other little things, or should we do some weirdos?
No little things from me. Any from you?
No, sir.
Well, then, it seems there are no more little things, but there may be one big thing.
Oh.
And that one big thing is Weirdo of the Week.
Weirdo of the Week! weirdo.
This is everyone's favourite segment of the show where we get to take the chance to look back and reflect on some of the weird and wonderful and grubby little characters who come across our screens each and every week. Lawrence, who is your weirdo that you love and are celebrating famously this week?
Stop setting me up with this all the time, right? You know there's no one I can cheer for today. Mine's a cop-out, but I've just said everyone.
That is a cop-out. That is a cop-out.
I can pick a specific...
I had to hit him with a boo.
But that's the point of the episode. The point of the episode is that everyone here is a fucking weirdo.
It's the point of the episode. It's not the point of the segment, Lawrence.
Oh, all right, fine. Who's the little one that I can celebrate then?
No. Stick with your terrible choice.
Okay, right. Well, then, everyone was dubious. Everyone was acting sus, as the kids say. Cue a Mogus sound effect. Look. It's not even the right.
Is it not?
No, there's like it's like a yeah. The Akin sus meme, I believe they call it. No, look, I don't. No, that's just a Vine boom.
Yeah, but they do that too, don't they?
I should presume they do, yeah. Probably. Look, everyone was acting weird. Literally everyone in this episode is a weirdo. The whole point of the episode summed up is that you kind of, underneath the surface, everyone has got some horrible shit inside them. And you don't know what you've got inside you until push comes to shove. And I like it, and that's why I chose everyone. Because there's not one specific person that I think is more of a freak than the others.
I do.
Okay, all right. Well, then please enlighten me.
And I just want to note it, massive cop out on your part.
You've had cop outs before.
Not like that. I haven't just gone everyone. Like that's pretty bad.
All right, but everyone, all the passengers on the bus except the doctor. Is that better?
For everyone but one.
No, I'm not saying the pilots are weird.
No,
I don't think the hostess is weird. I think specifically the passengers.
What? Cop out. Mine's Val. Mine's Val. Just because I've said it many times during the episode. She is scary because she's a real terrifying woman. Like again, she is the picture of this, older conservative woman, and it's not just her. Her husband's just as bad, but she was like particularly terrible throughout the episode, particularly horrible. And yeah, very, very weird, very bad, very scary, and I didn't like her.
Mr. Tory was more just insecure and aggressive.
I feel like he just like goes along with like a lot of what she suggests. Really,
yeah. It very much felt like he's the muscle to her manipulation. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Both of them terrible, but she was particularly just not nice at all.
Indeed, I agree, and maybe other people agree, but we won't know that, Nathan, until we read some emails and tweets.
What's this?
Nathan, this would be a little segment of the show where you... I am, yeah. I see. I teed it up and everything. Nathan, this is a segment of the show where a couple of days before we record, you tend to tweet out and just get the feedback of the listeners. People get to have their say, let us know what they thought about the episode. And to be honest, it's become an informal Q&A session, to be honest. It's kind of just become just this long-winded pen pal situation with a few people.
And also, you don't have to listen to this. This will go on for about 10-20 minutes or so
Casuals be gone.
Off. Yeah, feel free to clock off at this point. That's absolutely fine. We didn't do an ad break. Fuck.
Let me give you... Am I editing this or are you editing this?
Well, will it come out on Monday at 10?
Yes.
Will it?
Let me edit it for you and let me surprise you with how good I can get it out by 9 a.m. or 10 a.m.
But, it needs to be uploaded by at least 9:30.
I can handle that. I handled that well enough.
Yes.
Not this last week.
That episode we recorded 2 weeks ago.
It's been Christmas, Nathan. It was 4 hours. You can see why I put it off.
I edited mine over Christmas. That's all I'm saying.
Fine.
I was there Christmas Eve. I was editing. It was like 10 o'clock on Christmas Eve, Lawrence, and I was editing the podcast. All right.
All right, fine. Right, I will do it, and then I'll give myself clean ones later on. Just like a little cutting point.
Fuck off.
Just a bit of flavour.
Yeah.
Right, go on. Read me your stuff.
What stuff?
Your emails, your tweets.
Have we teed it up?
I know we teed it up. I can't remember where we stopped. So,
Anyway,
know.
here's some tweets.
Lovely.
Fucking all right, so this first one is from... Well, this is actually following on from last week. This is a reply, as it were. This is a back and forth. And this is from Kai Armstrong. You remember Kai wrote to us last week about the fall of the 10th Doctor and how he accidentally called it 11 and...
Oh, yes.
Yes. Do you actually remember? Because you was giving me nothing during all of that. And I was like,
No,
remember, you fucking... You was just staring at me blankly the entire time.
I didn't know where you were going with it, but I do remember, yes, because we were more confused after having read it than we were going in. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So Kai says, to clarify last week's tweet, first, yes, that was a typo. I did mean 10. So there we go. And secondly, when he says he's got time for this and jumps down the elevator, I didn't know what kind of sonic magic he pulled, but he was falling quite fast and then was just magically fine. I think that's a good point. I've never took like the moment where 10 jumps down the elevator shaft. I always just like assumed there would be some like gravity thing at the bottom to like slow it down, but I that's never shown though, so I guess that's fair.
Yeah, it was kind of... I mean, it's an awkward shot anyway.
It's a weird CGI face sort of thing.
Yeah, and he's like... The angle it's shot at, you kind of like... His legs are straight, like he's obviously stood on a platform, but he's also maybe flying.
He's upside down.
See, it's very strange. I don't know. But the Sonic can do everything.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure it broke his fall.
Well, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
All right, why don't you read us the next tweet, Lawrence?
I can't do that, Nathan. I don't have them loaded up. You don't let me look at them. You don't let me read them out.
Well, interesting.
Wait, was this a ruse? Are you trying to get me to read out Magnanimous Magibaliculus Acorn or something?
Just you wait, actually. A bit of sizzle.
Okay.
This one is from Garen Zilla. Russell's masterpiece. This is about midnight again. The apex of the revival up to this point. Insane to think he wrote the entire thing in 3 days. Wow. So I guess that listened to what you were saying. Huge shout out to Leslie Sharp. What a performance. I agree. That's insane that he wrote it in 3 days.
I know. I mean, like I said, I'd read that it was quick. I didn't think it was 3 days. That's nuts.
Could you write something that's good in 3? Well, you couldn't write something that's good.
Yeah, I could have all the time in the world.
Exactly. And it wouldn't be enough.
We script these podcasts, and I feel like we do a good job of doing that.
You can script things. If you scripted this, there would be something severely wrong with you. If this was scripted, I would question what the fuck is going on in your mind. And then Nathan interjects to praise the blue suit again. But Lawrence wasn't talking about it. Doesn't matter.
And I like that even this was scripted too. Us talking about it being scripted was also scripted.
It's not true. Cameron Welsh flag at blue_lantern says, just creepy. Just creepy Simon Says, really, innit? But like Simon Says, I guess, it shows the true nature of human beings because one person always takes it too far.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true. Like, I just caught me off guard at the beginning there with the just. I think this was the person who also said Big B.
Big B. You know, every now and again, I catch myself still chuckling at the simplicity of Big B in it. That's fantastic.
This is from Magnanimous New Year, shorter name, Acor.
Oh, okay, nice. Acor?
Yeah. Well, it says Acor, but it may have been cut off. Yeah, if I go to the profile, it says acorn holder, but on my notification, it's cut off on my note, so I didn't get it incorrect. Okay, it was cut off.
No, he got it incorrect. Punish him. You know what to do.
At Soupy Soup Brain says, in Midnight 2008, the titular planet is covered in vast fields of crystalline structures. However, within these crystals lurk dark forces which wish to corrupt and destroy. This is similar to the Dark Crystal in Jim Henson's 1982 film of the same name, which unleashes the dreaded skesis upon the planet of Thra. Only by returning the dark force to the crystals, throwing the entity out of the bus / reunifying the Yerskex, can this evil be defeated. And then there's a picture of the crystal. Thanks. What is this?
I don't.
What is this entire segment now?
I feel better about being really nice at the end of last week's episode and thanking everyone, right? And I feel that going on for 5 minutes and saying how much I appreciate our audience, does qualify me and allow me maybe to be a bit more flippant this week and say that I think we've got some real fucking nerds. Like, and I mean that lovingly. No, I mean that lovingly. But like, right, I don't know what any of that meant.
Well, he's talking about fucking Dark Crystal.
I don't know what this is.
It's the Jim Henson thing.
Okay. Is Jim Henson something to do with the Muppets?
Yeah, with Jim Henson, he did all the puppeteering.
Oh, okay, that's where I know his name then, yeah.
Jim Henson's does like anything with puppets. Jim Henson's all over it.
What about Frank Oz?
Frank Oz worked for Henson, I think. Yeah, Jim Henson helped work with Yoda as well.
He was Master Yoda's Master Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
it's how Jim Henson has never been described ever before.
You'll know from that epic rap battles of history. That's the only way you know people from history.
It's true, yeah. I wrote down those bars in my GCSE.
Great. That's how you know he's from the Muppets, because he has Kermit with him. That's true, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh,
at least I'm honest.
You are so dumb. You are very dumb. Anyway, our good friend Damn the Lamb at Damn the Lamb says, just an excellent group character study showing how quickly people can be driven to murder if they think it will save their lives. Also, great pacing during the latter half of the episode, playing out effectively in real time. 10 out of 10 Docky Who. Have seen this one a lot. Very true. Very true. I agree.
Sorry, I was having a sip. Yeah, no, that's something that we didn't really touch on, to be fair, that it is pretty much, like, after that montage, it is pretty much a real-time thing. Like, it's just, like, I don't know, they've touched on this before, like, they did 42 was supposedly like, you know...
Sunshine.
Yeah. I mean, yes. No, but they do this every so often, and I do think it plays on it nicely, but you need that kind of confined, contained, claustrophobic feel, where there's, like, not a minute to breathe. And, yeah, we didn't really touch on that in this episode, but I do think it's, like, a large component as to why this works really well.
Is that the pacing you're talking about?
Yeah, like the pacing and like the fact that it's kind of unrelenting. You don't get to cut away from anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It never like cuts back to like, oh, what's Donna up to at the spa? Or
just getting a fucking, I don't know, just getting her nails painted or something.
Yeah. Callum, but climbing on random letters at CJ2339J says, what do you guys think about the theory that the creatures in Wild Blue Yonder are an evolved version of the Midnight Entity? Ooh, I don't think so.
There's different rules, isn't there? Like
there is differences. Yes, there is differences. First of all, like the Midnight isn't like doing any of the body horror kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it seems far less, like, as soon as it takes Sky over, it feels very more, like
It's quicker to understand.
Yeah.
Wild Blue Yonder creatures take their time a little bit more.
But then I also think that they come kind of pre-packaged with knowledge of how people talk, and like they do some, my arms are too long kind of. They don't understand like object permanence and all of that stuff, but they can hold a conversation, whereas Sky was mostly copying for half an hour.
I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that Wild Blue Yonder, whatever that creature was, the no things, they come from outside the universe, from like beyond it, from the darkness. Whereas it's very much within the universe. Like it's an unknown entity, sure, but it's very much within the universe.
Yeah, they built a leisure.
They are similar though.
Fucking planet. Yeah.
They are similar though. So
they are. I think the object, the concepts of the episodes are. It's just kind of horrifying thing. What would happen if horrifying thing took you over and learnt too much about you and became an accurate copy of you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I to be fair, I watched Wild Blue Yonder and I immediately went, yeah, that feels a lot like Midnight.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So.
Robert Vasquez. Doctor Who faces off against its greatest recurring enemy, budgetary constraints. But this time, Doctor Who comes out as the absolute winner. You could make this episode on the lowest budget imaginable, and it would still be molto bene. One of my favourites, 10 out of 10. Agree. Yeah, you really don't need fuck all for this episode, do you? You could set this in just a fucking room with some chairs. You don't even need the chairs, really. Like,
no.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying about like how normally with this kind of stuff they might have a window open and a green screen that they can just composite on whatever they want to like the outside world to look like. But they've even wrote in that they have all the blinds shut. Like it couldn't be more made.
Well, yeah, the sun is poison or whatever. So like they can't.
Yeah. Did you was the the cockpit? Did that feel like reused gridlock stuff to you?
No.
I got a bit of like one of their little cabins, like one of their little cars.
No, it felt smaller than that.
Oh yeah,
I think Gridlock was, those cars were quite spacious.
Oh yeah, they were stood up
for a car anyway. Yeah, this was, and that was like over a season ago. I don't think they would still be around. They're not keeping the Gridlock car for its big return, are they?
I was about to say, like, they do keep stuff. I'm remembering what they keep is like the Daleks that they've
They'll
used
keep
a
the
million
Daleks
times.
and the Cybermen and that sort. I don't think they're keeping the Gridlock car around. You know,
The grand
That's just
return of the
plywood.
Gridlock car.
Exactly, it's just plywood. They'll just take that down and get rid of it.
Yeah, so they probably did just break that down.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, fine.
Greg Cactus Face at G Cactus Face, the man, the myth, the legend. On June 21st, the Alaska Gold Planners will play the 119th annual Midnight Sun baseball game. So there we go.
Okay, right, yeah. So we're back to baseball now.
Well, Lawrence.
Okay.
Greg Cactus Face at G Cactus Face also says the kid who played Merlin in the TV show Merlin in this show, according to the Merlin Wiki, horses. Oh wait, according to the Merlin Wiki, horses are large herbivorous domesticated mammals with solid hooves and flowing manes and tails. I'm in both the TV show Merlin and the never-ending story. Horses can die to drowning in mud. So there you go.
My favourite part of all of that is the link was just the Merlin Wiki talks about horses.
It's good stuff.
Oh. Okay, sorry, yeah. I'm back.
Kai Armstrong is back as well, and this is their thoughts on Midnight. A brilliant episode of Doctor Who with a villain that preys on the Doctor's greatest weakness, his inability to shut up. It also serves as a reminder that working with the public really is hell. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I agree. Kendall Roy's sad pointy ears at Tortoise Bill. 10 out of 10 banger of also please make Nathan watch Succession. I feel like he's so Shiv. What does that mean, Lawrence? Is that rude?
It's not nice.
Oh no. No. Who's Shiv?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think you fit any of them. Shiv's a character. Shiv is a character.
I got that, you dickhead.
No, but like there's traits to Shiv that are all of them are unlikable. All of them have you are sympathetic to all of their plights, but like as general people, you would meet these billionaires and go, "You're terrible people."
Yeah.
Shiv is widely regarded as like
The worst.
Yeah, but it's not like a Skylar White in Breaking Bad scenario. Like Shiv is possibly the most interesting character on that show.
And you famously hate Skylar White in Breaking Bad.
Yes, we've done this before.
She was always
right, I'm not
to-
doing this. I don't know.
Because she had the audacity to want to stop her husband. from
There you go.
building
I know
a
what's happened
predator.
there. You were out of your depth because two of us were talking about Succession, right?
Two
you
of
were out
you?
of and you were out of the loop, so you went, Lawrence hates women.
First of all, don't be like two of us as if suddenly there's now more people on this podcast and you're having a conversation with them which I'm somehow excluded from. Right?
Me and Kendall Roy's sad pointy ears were chatting, all right?
I'm going to look up Shiv.
No, don't please go into Succession blind. I don't want you to know who Shiv is.
Well, maybe I never will, Lawrence.
We know that that's not true.
Lawrence, you don't know that show. Shiv. Succession. I just want to look at them.
Okay. Shiv is known for serving Bob.
Oh, it's the woman.
Yeah.
I thought people liked the woman.
Yeah, look, everyone has their favourite character. I think Shiv is possibly one of the best characters on the whole show. But you know how people can be great characters and terrible people. It's one of them scenarios.
Interesting. Okay. Well, there we go.
I'm curious to... I want to just save this audio, and I'm curious to, like, after you've seen Succession, just be like, where'd you sit with that? How do you think... What do you think that meant?
Well, I will say, Kendall Roy's sad pointy ears, we have agreed that I will watch Succession.
Yeah.
It's on our schedule for another happy pod, our other podcast. And we'll be doing that. I think that's in August, I think.
Yeah, I think that rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're doing it in August 2024. So tune into that, I guess. So yeah. So there we go.
I want to be on record as saying I think calling you Shiv is a bit mean. So that when you find out more about Shiv, you're not... I didn't betray you like this.
All right, well... now you're making me feel bullied.
All right, fine. Kendall Roy's sad pointy ears. Who am I? Who do I give off? I want to know next week. Well, I'll wait for next week to find out.
Great. Magnanimous New Year short name Acorn Holders once again just tweeted at one point revisiting one of my favorite moments in Doctor Who history, and then I guess we were watching Neverending Story because it's the picture of a horse drowning in mud again.
Fuck's sake.
So-
I
That's
don't
good
like
stuff.
that. This is just... I don't even remember how this became the joke. How did this happen again?
It was because of the half in
Yeah, but like...
the half
Who
in the
started
mud.
this?
It was the half in the mud, and they were like, "Oh, it's like Neverending Story," and you were like, "Yep." Clearly, no idea what it was, but it was just like, "Yep, just like Neverending Story." And then the next episode, there was another reference to it, and you were like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it now.
Caught lying in 4K once again. Anyway, on to the emails. Surprisingly, a large amount of emails this week.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them to be exact. We'll start here with Ramona Harris, who has titled their email, Time Travel Musings. Dear Nathan and Lawrence, listening to this week. Why is the font on Apple so fucking small, man. Like fucking hell.
I don't like Apple's mail service.
All right, would you want a medal?
I like a Gmail myself.
All right, we'll use it then.
I will. I'll email you right now.
Please don't.
You can't stop me.
Maybe I need to get glasses. Dear Nathan and Lawrence, listening to this week's episode of Silence in the Library, I wanted to add that the 51st century really is getting some mileage from Russell. Jack was born then. K9 will be considered cutting-edge tech for the time. 9 almost takes Rose to the new Roman Empire in the year 5000 before going on to the end of the world instead. And of course, this episode takes place then. Also, according to some rando on Reddit, the time of angels and the girl in the fireplace takes place then. But shrugging emoji. Probably nothing special, and everyone's screaming at their iPods for me to shut up, but this kind of feels like my bad wolf. Do you guys have any bad wolves, i.e. things in Doctor Who that don't really have much of a bearing on anything you notice, but keep getting repeated? All the best, Ramona. P.S. I don't like this. Nathan is a bit rich calling Lawrence the companion when he has the better Doctor Who opinions. Yes, this is gospel. If anything, the pod is a multi-doctor story. Disagree.
I like this.
I thought you fucking would.
I like this a lot. No, as for I think we talk about them here. There's Mofisms, there's Russellisms. Like Russell not understanding politics is a big one that comes up all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Moff doing is, there's a noise in the background and you didn't notice it was creepy until we were told it was creepy. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Any other things? I've been put on the spot. I can't remember anything else.
There was. This is jumping ahead a little bit, and I'll be vague about it. But there was a season that's to come, obviously, where I knew that it was the Companions' last season. Okay, like I knew by the end of this season they would no longer be in the show.
Yeah.
And I knew that going into the season. But like the way the series started off, I was convinced, and I got the impression that like from the Doctor's perspective, the companion had already died, and they were going back for like more adventures or something.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. So, and that turned out not to be the case. But I was convinced of that up until a certain point.
Right. Would I know this?
Well, it doesn't matter. It won't make much sense anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of that's like... No, I don't think so. It's a fucking great podcasting from us.
I feel like there is, because we always joke about things we notice all the time. But we're just
the sonic screwdriver for me is a big thing.
Yeah.
Like that just always is consistently doing anything it needs to. But that's just story though, isn't it? That's just Ex Machina devices.
That's literally what it is. It's
the
Doctor's Ex Machina, so we can get through this door or whatever, or this rope, or this whatever, or this
like a regeneration speech. Maybe that's a thing.
What about a regeneration?
Well, that's just a big thing that happens all the time now, isn't it? But I guess that's kind of. Yeah. It's not like I hang on a minute, guys. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but they actually always do a little speech. you guys clocked onto this?
It is a recent thing. Like it wasn't really that way in Classic Who. There wasn't like, and now I'll do my big farewell speech to the audience. It's just like carrots, carrots, carrots. And now I've regenerated or whatever.
Here's a paper mache man.
Here's a paper mache man. Yeah. No, there are a few which are quite like emotional stuff, but like a lot of people often like, there's that clip of William Hartnell's first Doctor being like, one day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Yeah. A lot of people confuse that with like his final moment speech. And it's not at all. It's from an entirely different episode. It's from it's from when Susan leaves the show. That's who he's talking to. But
he says he's coming back for Susan. That's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's a lot of people often confuse that as his final regeneration speech, which I guess with modern context makes sense. But yeah, it wasn't really like that back then.
I tell you what, there is a big thing that I have seen so few people talk about, and it's a massive thing for us, but it's coming up in the next couple of episodes. happens just after a regeneration?
The
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that
Okay.
you have to wait for
cut-
that answer. That's something that like
I'll cut out that sound effect because that's gross. But
that is a minging sound.
well, you'll cut out that sound effect. But
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. So to answer the question in the most long-winded way possible, we'll let you know when we talk about it.
Yeah, it's true because we've made this rule for ourselves where we can't talk about what's to come, but sometimes we can. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's vague, but
No, but that's some gold I want to save.
yeah, that's something we constantly joke about and laugh at, and I think I pointed out to you. I think
I don't know if that's true. Slow on down there.
I think
young
that is true.
man. Well, until you can prove it to me.
Well, I can't because I don't have a time machine, and if I did, I'd phlegm on it. You gotta cut that out.
Bit of sizzle.
This is from, thank you very much, Ramona Harrison. This is from Tom Hardwill, and the subject is The Other Tom. Good day, boys. I assume they are from Australia. I hope you've had a fantastic Christmas and a good New Year, penned in time of email. It is the New Year, not really. To start with, I loved hearing from another Tom last week who is a fellow Love and Monsters enjoyer. You gave the episode far too much hate, especially as the very following episode we are introduced to Kel, the only man in the Hooniverse more interested in road laying than Elton.
Oh no, that's true.
Oh my god, that's so good. Wow. Oh, the only man more interested in roadie than Elton. Oh my god. Thoughts on Midnight. Banger episode for the clear budget saving that left 10-year-old me scarred. Keep up the amazing work, and longer episodes are the winner for me. Tom,
right.
sent it from my iPhone. Thank you, Tom. Wow.
So what, we're now 5 for 5 on longer episodes?
Yes, I think so.
We need to hear if you don't want them. Don't be shy. You can
Well, no
email
one
us
is-
saying shorter is fine.
No one has said that yet, so...
We've lost the ability to do shorter ones now anyway.
I liked Kel.
Sorry, I can't take that seriously.
Kel was a nice guy. He loved his roads. He loved the council and he loved his roads. He was a supporter. He was a supporter of local council, and I appreciate that.
He was, yeah. I'd like to touch back in on, like we've seen the return of Trinity Wells. I'd like to see the return of Kel, but he's now like a local minister. Like
He's the mayor. He's the mayor of that town, London, I guess.
or it's been a rough 20 years, so he just runs the neighborhood watch or something.
Oh no,
Just something bad.
yeah.
Oh man.
I never want to check in on Elton.
The only place I want to see Elton check into is a prison cell. Like that.
I don't
man.
think you check into a prison cell.
Right. Well, he should. Right. That man is a sex criminal.
This is from someone. There's no name, and it's like just the email, so I'm not obviously going to read that out. But
Sure.
So to my lovely Who boys. Hello, boys. I hope this email finds you well. Now, don't get all red in the cheeks about it, but I really do love and appreciate this podcast. My cheeks are already red.
Mine aren't. Fuck you. I'm just doing what they told me to do.
They didn't say get mean about it, did
All right, fine. I'm indifferent to your comment.
I get genuinely excited when an episode drops, and when the fan mail segment rolls around, hearing Nathal grumble over the stupid little gag I pull every week makes me cackle. Who is this then?
Wait, yeah, hang on. Every week?
Yeah. Is this Greg?
Greg, have you got a burner?
No. This person is from Australia, and I think Greg's from Australia as well. So
Cactus face. That does check
Yeah.
out.
What?
There's cactuses in Australia, isn't there?
Like, because of the desert?
Yeah.
I don't know if there is. I feel like
cactus is fairly like synonymous with Australia.
No, I feel like this is more of an American thing, a cactus.
Oh yeah, I guess. Like
an Arizona, like, desert or something.
Like Nevada situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think you get many out. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you get many cactuses in the outback. Isn't the whole point of the outback that it's like very inhospitable?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Who knows? Anyway, maybe this is Greg. Being on the ground floor of this podcast is such a lovely experience, and I hope to hear from you boys every week as we approach my darling Smith and Capaldi's eras. A person after my own heart here. Moral of the story: the brown suit is better. Okay, I spoke too soon.
You're getting humbled this week. I'm enjoying this.
Keep the episodes long. Dedicate a 30-minute segment to discussing Greg Cactus Face's latest reference each week. Keep up the good work. Hand heart emoji. All right. Sherlock Holmes hat on.
Yeah.
My dear Watson, I have deduced that this is Greg Cactus Face.
I think you may be right. That is elementary. My dear Sherlock.
Yeah. You know he never said that?
Did he not?
No, in the books, like, he never said that.
I'm pretty sure he did in the epic rap battles of history. Which, as we know, is a 1-to-1 counterpart for history itself.
Yeah, I also think he never wore the deerstalker either. Like,
no, he's got to have, surely.
No, it's just like that's just like what stuck around as like the famous image of him.
Oh, fair enough.
Like someone wore it in a movie once, and they're like, "Oh, that's Sherlock Holmes."
Was it like a silhouette on a book cover or something with that?
Well, no, but that's what you get now. But
yeah.
I don't think that would have been, because it wasn't a book, was it? It was published in a magazine.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was published in the Strand. Well, initially, anyway, and then it was a book.
What a terrible fucking hat as well.
It's a deer stalker.
Yeah.
It's stalking deer.
Not me. I like animals.
Yeah.
I'm not out here hunting. We got any more emails, Nate?
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, maybe Greg. We appreciate it.
Yeah. If not, then let us know. Reveal yourself.
This is from other Tom Monty, our good friend. Dear Nathaniel, it's not my name, and Larry, that is your name.
Yes.
Thoughts on Midnight. This is an all-time great RTD at his peak. I like the bit where the driver mechanic guy spots the Midnight entity shifting towards the truck right as the shutters are closing. Chilling stuff. As an 8-year-old at the time of broadcast, I found myself rewinding and pausing to see if I could see it. But I later found out in confidential or something that RTD intentionally didn't want to put any visuals there as to add to the mystery. Yeah, just like us, really.
It's exactly what happened to you.
Yeah. I like the bit where Jeffro says 666 with such glee. That is very fun. It brings a tear to my eye when the hostess makes the ultimate sacrifice and no one knows her name. She deserves a raise, I think. I think it might be a bit late for that. Really.
Yeah, look, I guess she can get a raise.
Be a pointless effort.
She is extremely dead. Yeah, I think
be a bit of an empty gesture from the company at that point, wouldn't it?
It might cover some funeral costs, but beyond that,
yeah. One question though: when Skye turns around for the first time after being possessed by the entity, she says her first line, "Skye." Is it just me, or does she sound like a child? When I first watched this, I thought the gimmick of this monster was maybe going to be that it spoke with a childlike voice, but then immediately after that it was dropped, and she went back to speaking with Skye's voice. Maybe I'm mad. Please tell me I'm not mad.
I can't say I noticed the child voice.
I think I've noticed it before. Yeah, it's kind of like this. I don't think it's necessarily a child thing. It's more like this naivety to it. This like inexperience, naive nature to this creature, and it's like trying to learn and figure it out. And I can see where the childlike thing comes from. Yeah,
is it like, because obviously for the rest of the deliveries, there's quite like a floaty, airy quality to the voice, where she's like, I don't know, kind of like in the air kind of scenario.
Should we go to the tape?
I think we have to go to the tape for this.
Yeah.
Skye? Sky,
Are you alright?
are you alright?
Are you hurt?
Are you hurt?
Thoughts?
Yeah. I can't say I picked that up when I was just watching it, but yeah, hearing it like that. Firstly, hearing it like that is a different experience anyway, because that music really stands out when I'm in quite a dark room, right? I know to you my camera looks light, but that's just the light of my laptop. But I'm in a fairly dark room, and I'm like, that's got me shivers just going up my spine. Like, I don't like that. Someone's creeping around behind me. Yeah, that does feel more naive than I remember it being, and like. That's the first thing she says in the episode.
As the entity, as the creature.
Yeah. I don't think you're going insane at all. I think that's absolutely. It does feel intentional. It's definitely not like a child voice. I think you're right. It captures more of like an innocence and a naivete. You said.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There we go. This is Tom again. My guess for either one of your weirdos of the week: Jethro's mum, or Jethro's dad, or Jethro himself. Got one of those right. Well, I guess technically you got all of them right.
Every single one of them.
Copped out. So there we go. Love from Tom Monty. Thank you very much, Tom. This one is from Nathan Thorpe, who says, beep, beep, all aboard the Weirdo Express. It's difficult to pick a favourite episode of Doctor Who, but this one is definitely up there. Lots is made of this being a budget-saving episode, but the writing and acting is so good that even with no budget, this could work as a radio play and still get across the claustrophobic paranoia that makes it such a great character study. Maybe I enjoy it so much because the moral of the story is basically beware of organised excursions because you never know where you'll end up on a bus full of Daily Mail reading cunts. Words to live by, 10 out of 10. Nathan at Nathorpe. Thank you very much, Nathan. And yes, I agree.
I feel like you have a similar vibe to this other Nathan. Like that feels like it could have been written by you.
It does, to be honest. Yeah.
Daily Mail reading cards. Oh god, yeah. What a dreadful dreck of a newspaper that is.
This is from, well, it says it's from Doctor Who. So I guess that's what their email name is. But like, okay. I don't know if that's their legal name, but I mean, maybe. Hello, Nathan and Lawrence, my favourite Doctor Who podcast hosts. We did it. I loved the episode Midnight, but something didn't sit right with me. How is the creature that's possessed Sky able to learn so quickly, moving from mimicking to enforcing its will on others? Part of the answer, at least, is staring us right in the face. Aside from the fact that it starts by mimicking the Doctor, whose nature is to learn new things and must have been a boost to intelligence, there is a biological component as well. The creature mentions it lived in the dark and the cold for so long, and that human bodies are so hot in comparison. Thinking is a surprisingly taxing load in most biological systems, requiring lots of carbohydrates to be converted into energy for human brains. This alien life wouldn't use carbs for energy as there's no carbon life on the planet, but it could use heat for the same purpose, converting kinetic energy into its own fuel. The creature isn't only feeding on Sky's heat, it's feeding on the heat of everyone in the small, insulated room that gets more and more hot and the more angry and scared everyone gets. Basically, it gets stronger the more heat there is, and the room gets hotter with every new person that is scared of it. It's almost a perfect parasite for humans in that way. As always, just something I thought was interesting. Keep up the good work, and I love the podcast.
Right, these guys have got a group chat, and they're taking the piss out of me. I'm certain of it. Right, these are like, do you see what I mean now? About nerds.
That's not okay.
You give off that's not nerdy. Right, firstly, thank you. Genuinely, again, all insight is fascinating, right? And that's something that, of course, I've never considered because I don't have the brain capacity to consider that as I watch Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm also certain that they're all having me on.
I also didn't know that carbohydrates, that comes from carbon life. Is that what that means?
Again, why are you asking me?
That's a good
Also, like,
point.
you guys are if this is not a bit, why do you care what we think?
Well, you are asking the wrong people. for
Like,
this.
you
I
guys
think-
are all Luke Rattigans listening to slow people talk.
Catherine, if you're listening, I think you're the person to answer this one.
Yeah.
Our resident scientist, because us two dumb cunts here, we don't have a clue. We're just here to look good and talk about Doctor Who, all right?
And we manage one of them.
And we manage one of them, which is to look good.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Docky Who. I don't know.
A blanket, yes.
I tell you what, I do think it's interesting, the whole thing about like the heat and the anger and all that kind of stuff, whether intentional or not. I don't know, but like it works. That's like a good explanation. But I'm just a big dum. So
I also think I think Russell is an incredibly intelligent writer,
yeah,
but I also don't think he thought that. Because I don't
maybe
know.
he did.
Russell's not a scientist. Like,
well, I mean, you're not a scientist.
okay, I know. What was
I
that
don't know
for?
why- I don't know.
Any more emails or tweets, Nathan?
No, that's all of them, Lawrence.
Okay. Good. I think I've had my fill for the day. Anyway.
Are we done? No, fucking hell. Nothing else, is there?
No, I'm gonna do my little outro, aren't I? That's what I typically do.
Yeah, are you? I think you might have forgot about that one there, Chief.
No, as usual, thank you very, very much for listening. If you have enjoyed the show, then please feel free to leave us a little review. Nathan, I believe we've got a review. I think a new one to read
Yeah,
out.
just give me a sec.
Yeah.
All right, this one is from A. Fillingham, and it's called My Favorite. I love this show. Been on the Weekly Planet train for many years, so eventually came over to this one. Great chemistry and great suggestions. Thanks for making my commute so much better, Claire and James. The joke is that it's a review from a Suggestible podcast.
Very good. Good. Fuck's sake.
And then whatever the usual one I read out is.
Oh, is that you done?
No, I'll do it. I just have to find it.
That's right, listeners. Just imagine he said it.
Just imagine the regular joke.
I'll just put in a recording of last week, you reading it out.
No, I'll do it now. Still, yeah, maybe I should just get a button of me reading it out.
That would be so good.
Yeah, so I can press it. How long do you think until people noticed?
Well, let's see. It's on them.
Who knows?
We've
maybe
left the
this is it.
breadcrumb.
Still got it. A wonderful podcast about a 60-year-old show that goes off on various bizarre tangents at the drop of a fez. A must listen for me every week, especially as this review is read out every week. Never stop, and I never will, apparently.
Yeah, I guess our hand has been forced at this point.
I'm now tied into this curse for life.
What
now.
we're up to like half an hour of in jokes now. Like, how have we done? We've only had this podcast for a year. How have we managed this?
I don't know.
How has it just become this puzzle box of unusual shit at the end?
Power of Docky Who, my friend.
Indeed,
It brings the community together.
it does. And what a
The
lovely
Still Got
community.
Legs community is the best, and I love them. And tell your friends about it so it gets bigger.
Let us. By the way, let
And we
us
get
like.
more money.
I don't want any exact
Or
addresses.
just any money.
What would you say?
I was saying, tell your friends about it so we get more money. And then I said, or just any money.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would. Well, no, we got the ads. We got the ads in there now. We're getting some money. It's not a lot.
I haven't got any yet. So.
Yeah, you haven't. That's because it's wired to my account.
It's not just actually wired to my account because I set it up.
We
What
don't
was you
want.
saying? Let us know where you live or something?
Yeah. We don't want any exact addresses, but just give us an outline of where you guys are from, because
I'm going to find that out right now from the listener data.
Yeah, but not the regular. We've got numbers, but then we've got like 10 people we know that like are fans of the show, write in every week, etc.
No, yeah, that's fair.
All
But I
I'm
can still
saying
tell
is,
you, like,
you know, maybe we'll go on a canal boat. Maybe we'll get together at the London Eye or something.
where'd you, on a canal boat
I don't
in the
just,
Thames.
yeah, why
That
not?
doesn't seem safe.
No, probably not if you fall in.
Where do you think the most of our listeners come from?
Right, I'd have to assume the UK, but I think the fact that you're asking me is not. Then it's not the UK.
No, it is the UK.
Oh, okay, all right.
64%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The next up is the US
Thank you, BBC
with-
America.
with 11.98%, basically 12%.
Lovely.
After that, it's Australia, then Canada, then Germany, then Ireland, then Norway, then Georgia, then France, and then Finland.
Very nice.
Indeed.
And
then
everywhere else is
Denmark.
untapped potential.
No, and then Denmark and Poland and the Czech Republic and Netherlands and New Zealand and Spain and Argentina and Belgium and Mexico and Austria.
Lovely.
And then Brunei Darussalam,
Oh,
and
I
then
see. You're
Chile, and then
clicking-
Egypt, and then Estonia, and then Hungary, and then India, and then Indonesia, and then Israel, and then the Philippines, and then Sweden.
You're absolutely right, Nathan.
And then Thailand, and then Turkey, and then the Ukraine, and then Uruguay.
We're on Twitter at we're
That's
on
all
Twitter
of
at Still Got Legs Pod. Come and give us a little follow. That's where you'll see little tweets that Nathan puts out, and it will let you kind of know that it's time to give your opinion. You can also give us an email. You can email us. Our email address is stillgotlegspodcast@gmail.com. Send in your longer thoughts. We'd love to know what you think about upcoming episodes. Tennant's era is coming to a close, or Tennant's first era is coming to a close. So we'd love to hear what you guys think overall. Nathan, did you know that we have another podcast?
I do, Lawrence. It's called Another Happy Pod. It's our pop culture podcast where every week we discuss either something that came out in the realm of pop culture or just everything that came out this year whilst drunk. Fans of the longer episode, fans of us arguing. Big week for you guys. I
It's
guess.
Matt, you guys won this week.
A little Christmas present from us.
You won and we lost.
Yes. And Lawrence lost he didn't bother to edit it, even though he had it for 2 weeks.
Fuck's sake.
Am I wrong, Lawrence?
No, I guess not.
I'm publicly shaming you.
Fine.
Yeah, so check that out. It's a little treat. Weird treat, but there you go.
Yeah, weird treat. You get more of us. Well done.
Yeah, more of us.
Merry fucking Christmas.
And that is it. These really are getting longer. We're at 2:36, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They're getting too long, and in the spirit of not wanting them to be any longer, goodbye, good friends, goodbye.